the original and best British championships for mini bikes. This is Cool Fab Racing. This is Cool Fab Racing. Live coverage all season on the Cool Fab Racing Facebook page and on the website coolfabracing.com.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Cool Fab Racing British Mini Bikes Championships. We are live for the final time in 2018. This is round 8 of the championship, live from Tattershall in Lincolnshire. 2 sets of fantastic races to come today. This will set the rest of the 2018 championships. Who's going to be the winners? Who's going to finish in what point positions? We just don't know quite yet. We'll bring you all of that information as the races come, starting with the Mini GP70s in just a few moments' time. The AC40 Pros will then follow them out onto circuit. But my name is Dan Marr. Alongside me, as ever throughout 2018, is the very wonderful Mr. Kiko Giles, and Connor Jackson, website editor for Motorsport Radio, joins us in the commentary box this weekend. His first taste of the fantastic action we get here from Cool Fab Racing. We're live on motorsport.radio, on the Cool Fab Racing website and on social media. Please do tune in on social media where you can catch our brilliant live visual radio coverage of all of the races here today. Let us know who you're supporting in the comments below. We'll be reading out a few of those over the course of the show as well. We've got a bumper programme for you today, 2 sets of races to come, and the Mini GP70s had some fantastic battling in yesterday's first encounter. Kiko Giles, just talk us through what happened in that race.
There was lots and lots of action in all of the races yesterday, but you've got to look at the GP70s. It was a top ride really from all of the riders. Evan Belford had a good run. Bailey Stewart-Campbell should have arguably won, but he crashed out very early on with a 15-second lead. Evan Belford obviously taking advantage of that. But all in all, great racing and dry weather today as well, so hopefully closer racing today. Well, hopefully we'll be closer. We've got 12 laps in prospect as the Mini GP70s head out onto circuit. Now, Rossi Banham and Bailey Stewart-Campbell, second and first. That is your front row of the grid. Evan Belford and James Rose will line up on row 2. Harrison Crosby and Owen Mellor are on row 3, with Ollie Walker, Kyle Payne, then it's Taylor Lawrence and Alfie Davidson. That's how the top 10 line up. Sean Abel, Finn Smart, Saffron Watley, Joe Farragher, Holly Harris and Thomas Gomez. That rounds out the 16-strong grid. Connor Jackson, they head out onto the grid just before the start of the race. This is the moment when a rider's mind really goes into that adrenaline-filled nightmare, I suppose.
Indeed, Dan. It's going to be an exciting race today, and if it's anything like the opening encounter we had yesterday, I will be thoroughly excited about what's going to happen. Yesterday's race, obviously, we only had 6 runners, I believe, finish the race in the end. It was a very high adrenaline race in what was quite treacherous conditions, but the weather has dried up today. The track is an awful lot grippier, and hopefully we should be in for a good encounter.
Well, the riders have been awake bright and early this morning. The first of the warm-up sessions, now the first of the races. Race number 2 of the weekend for the Mini GP70s, live from Tattershall in Lincolnshire. This is the Cool Fab Racing British Mini Bike Championships. We're the official partner series to the BSB, and on the road to MotoGP, these are some of the young riders we'll be hearing a lot more from in the years to come. But they look towards the first turn, they look towards the green flag. We start with the flag, it goes up, it goes down again, and we're underway for the first race of the day. They all make their way into turn 1 for the first time. Bailey Stewart-Campbell from pole position makes a good start. Rossi Bannon, though, a much better start than yesterday, fighting for second place. Evan Belford trying to fight also for that podium position. The second step on the podium so far. We've got 12 laps in prospects. Everyone through the first few corners cleanly, but it is Bailey Stewart-Campbell from Rossi Banham. Then it's Evan Belford in third place, coming through turns 5 and 6. Left, right and left again. Such a tight section of hairpins.
Very, very good start from Rossi Banham. His body language suggests to me that he is much more determined for it today. Tricky wet weather yesterday, and Rossi Banham already looking to try and make a way through on your race leader Bailey Stewart-Campbell, but Evan Belford has got ahead of him. So Bailey Stewart-Campbell leads, and Evan Belford has capitalised on Rossi Banham's slight error, really. Trying to make a move too early was Rossi Banham. Someone's out wide at turn 1. It looks like Sean Abel to me. I think it was Sean Abel, yes it was, so Sean Abel's gone wide at turn 1, but your leaders, so leading group of 4, Bailey Stewart-Campbell and Evan Belford are side by side, and Evan Belford takes the lead, so good move from Belford. The 52 then in the lead ahead of Bailey Stewart-Campbell, then it's Rossi Banham, and then just on the back of that group, keep your eyes on Owen Mellor, he's looking feisty as well. Evan Belford starting to clear off though.
As you say, Kiko, it really was that lead group of 4 that just really started to break away, but here is Belford now, really had the opportunity to take the lead, and if yesterday is anything to go by, he will definitely want to win this race on merit. Yesterday, of course, he did win, however, it was at the expense of Bailey Stewart-Campbell, who did make that crucial mistake. So for him to really win it on merit today would be a fantastic opportunity.
And Evan Belford, always a fantastically quick rider, already 1.5 seconds to the good after the move at turn number 5. Just dove around the outside into the right-handed hairpin a lap ago. They make their way into that complex once again. Lap 3 at the moment, and Bailey Stewart-Campbell holding on to second place. Rossi Banham all over the coattails. Such a slow complex of corners they're making, meandering their way through even. As Bailey Stewart-Campbell defending second place at the moment. Rossi Banham, Owen Mellor, that's your top 4, rotating their way through the final 2 corners and up towards the line. Evan Belford, 46.819, fastest lap, has cleared off, 3 seconds ahead of Bailey Stewart-Campbell. A 48.3 this last lap, really increasing that gap rather dramatically, Connor.
Indeed, the battle behind them is also just as intense, as we have just seen Finn Smart overtake James Rose for 5th place. That does seem to be a battle that could continue on, especially with Ollie Walker now closing them both down.
Finn Smart back in action today, had a little bit of an off yesterday. Good to see he's up and okay and fighting very, very hard here. But at the moment, your race leader, Evan Belford, well, that is looking easy so far for him. He is streaking clear. The gap must be nearer 4 seconds this time around when they come across line. Here comes Belford now, starts another lap. 46.747 that time around. Fastest lap of the race, 4.5 seconds over Bailey Stewart-Campbell. Then it's Rossi Banham. Owen Mellor had a little look at the inside of Rossi Banham at that turn 1 hairpin, but couldn't make a move stick. Battles all the way downfield now. James Rose has got ahead of Finn Smart again. I don't know whether Finn Smart's made a mistake, but he's back to 6th, and James Rose climbs back up into 5th. Ollie Walker is right in behind them too. That's 7th place for him. 8th place to me looks like Kyle Payne now has got ahead of Sean Abel, and Sean Abel loses another place. That's Harrison Crosby moving through. So good stuff all the way down this mini GP70 field as the battles continue. It is Evan Belford though miles away out front as Finn Smart takes back 5th place.
As you say, that battle in the midfield is really hotting up now. 5-6 riders, I believe, almost in contention now for what looks to be the battle for 8th place. Sean Abel, as you say, was leading that group. However, I believe it is now Kyle Payne in the lead of the section. Up front, as you say, though, it's a 5.4 second gap now for Evan Belford. He really has just taken this race by the horns and is running away with it.
He really is running away with it. I don't think anyone's going to catch him today. He is miles clear of anyone else out there. Evan Belford making it look easy. Bailey Stewart-Campbell, though, has got a job on here, trying to keep Rossi Banham behind him, and then behind him is Owen Mellor. Those 3 are separated by about 0.6 of a second, so it is very, very close downfield there. Evan Belford starts another lap. 47.3 that time around, so not the fastest lap, but he was still faster than everyone else as they all stream across the line. Owen Mellor was the fastest in that group for second, so interesting stuff downfield.
Well, field certainly spreading out of the very front of it. 5.9 seconds is the gap between Evan Belford and Bailey Stewart-Campbell, still holding off the attacks of Rossi Banham and Owen Mellor. Is that going to continue over the course of this race? We're on to lap 6 now, so we're nearing half distance at the moment. Finn Smart 5th, James Rose still in 6th, and that fantastic battle, you say, including Ollie Ollie Walker, Taylor Lawrence, Harrison Crosby, they're all involved in there. Sean Abel battling away with Harrison as they make their way through turns 4 and 5.
As you say, with the battle behind, I believe it is now Taylor Lawrence in the lead of the battle for 8th, as he's really taken the advantage in that small pack. But the battle for 2nd, I think, is what we're all going to be watching in the final couple laps, as Bailey Stewart-Campbell just does not appear to have the speed that he had yesterday, falling significantly back from Evan Belford.
Rossi Banham still giving chase to Bailey Stewart-Campbell. Evan Belford is out front by a long way. Have we got a fall? We've got a fall of someone out on the edge of the circuit. Can't quite see who that is. We'll try and pick them up. I think it's Kyle Payne. Kyle Payne's dropped to the back of our timing monitor now. So Kyle Payne has pulled off in between the penultimate turn and the final turn. Bailey Stewart-Campbell just coming past that sight now. Rossi Banham taking an unusually tight line. That will give Owen Mellor a run down the straight. Hopefully, if he can, he pulls alongside. I think Owen Mellor's looking for a way through. Does he get it? No. Rossi Banham just holds on. James Rose is a retirement. He's out at the first turn. Yes, it is James Rose, the 28, has pulled off. So we have people dropping out of the top positions here. First Carl Payne and now James Rose.
I'd say that's such a disappointment for both of those riders, as they were running in top 5 positions and did have a real opportunity at a strong result. I will say though, that battle with Belford and Mellor is really holding them both up now, and it's allowing Stewart-Campbell to just run off into the distance.
Well, that's certainly going to be very helpful. 6.6 seconds was the gap over the line the last time. Bailey Stewart-Campbell, you mentioned, 7 seconds now behind. Rossi Banham has got his behind full of Owen Mellor looking up the inside going into turn number 1. Can he make the move? Not quite. Tried to leave it late on the brakes. Couldn't outbrake the Rossi Banham machine though. Number 13 staying ahead of 130 into turns 3 and 4. 2 right-handers, a short run, and then leading into the real tight infield complex here. Have a left, a right, and then a left hairpin. They're so tight, you've really got to find the grip. It's quite one line through there if you're not too committed, and Owen Mellor doesn't really need to fight too hard at this stage. He's got a good few laps left to go, but he tries to pull up on Ryder's left-hand side. To no avail though, remains in the 4th place just briefly through the final corner and up and over the line. Once again, going to go for a move up the inside. Not got the braking power, or has he? Into turn number 1. Can he complete it on this lap? Not quite.
Owen Mellor just rehearsing something there. Dan at turn 1, 3 laps to go. He's got enough opportunities yet to try something. And going at turn 1 on the last lap's dodgy, because you're giving the rider you're passing an opportunity to snap back. So I personally wouldn't be looking at turn 1, although having said that, there's not many other places on this course. Evan Belford still leading. Bailey Stewart-Campbell in a safe second. I'll say that, safe second. No one's really threatening him. But the battle is for that final position on the podium. Is it going to be Rossi Banham or is it going to be Owen Mellor? We've got 2 laps to go for your leader, Evan Belford, already across the line.
I mean, I am concerned about the move that Owen Mellor could make on the lead. He does appear to be setting up very nicely for the first turn, as we get again on another lap, and again, maybe this time Owen Mellor can take. No, again, he shuts the door from Rossi Banham. And I think that is the issue that Banham and Mellor are facing, is that Mellor just cannot find a way through on the rest of the circuit. And I think he needs to open his options up.
He's got to be bold down into turn 1 if he's going to make the move. If that's the only place he can pass, he may as well just go for it. And he's got to make sure that he gets the job done. He can't allow Rossi Banham to sweep back across. They're in the midfield now and not long left, not many opportunities left. Owen Mellor, though, starting to get feisty.
And well, he's starting to get feisty, sizing up, but there's not too much time in this race left to go. One more lap in the books for our riders out there at the moment. Evan Belford has really dominated so far. 9.6 seconds is the advantage over Bailey Stewart-Campbell. Very comfortable in second place. Owen Mellor again looks up the inside going into turn number 1. He still can't do it. He's got 2/3 of a lap in which to try and make the advantage. Turn 2, turn 3, left, right, and hooking into the midfield section for the final time in this race. And it is going to be Evan Belford on course for a victory.
Evan Belford's just got a few more corners to go. He's not going to worry about back markers, really. They are there, but he's not needing to have to get past them. He is going to do it. He's in the last corner. He's going to get the job done. Evan Belford is a winner in the first race of the day. Big battle for 3rd place, though. Who's it going to be? Rossi Banham at the moment holds it. Owen Mellor still wants it. They're going side by side through the final turn. It's going to be second for Bailey Stewart-Campbell, and Rossi Banham holds on for third. Fourth is Owen Mellor. Fifth place, we should be seeing Finn Smart. He's just coming out of the final corner now. Through he comes. That's a brilliant fifth place for him. And Ollie Walker, a fairway back, will be sixth place. So a top six result for Ollie Walker here. Good stuff indeed. Battles all the way down. Seventh will be Taylor Lawrence. Then it's the big battle for 8th place. That should go to Harrison Crosby by my accounts, ahead of Sean Abel. Did it stay like that across the line? Yes, it did. And Saffron Watley completing the top 10. But what a result. Evan Belford, Bailey Stewart-Campbell, Rossi Banham, Owen Mellor and Finn Smart are your top 5. Ollie Walker, Taylor Lawrence, Harrison Crosby, Sean Abel and Saffron Watley completing the top 10.
Well, a great result there for the first race of the day. This then being the second mini GP70 race of the weekend. A great result for Evan Belford, Bailey Stewart-Campbell and Rossi Banham just holding on to the podium. They have one final race due to come at around 2 o'clock this afternoon. That will be it for their championship, and it does sound quite sad to say that. It's going to be an emotional day and a fantastic day of racing here to come. Round 8 of the 2018 Cool Fab Racing British Mini Bike Championships. Well, out next will be the AC40 Pros. To go through very quickly the rest of the order for the day, the Pit Bike 140 and Moto teams will follow our next race. They're due to be out at around 11:05. Then it will be the Junior LC40 Elites, followed by the Senior Mini Motos. Then it's the AC40 Rookies, the Mini GP50s will be out later on this afternoon, the Extreme 200s, and then the Mini F1 sidecars due to bring us to a close at around 5 to 1. We'll be going for lunch and then we'll do all of this again. And we of course also have our presentation evening from 7:15 this evening in fact. So plenty of action still to come from Tattershall. Up next is the AC40 Pros, and their grid will line up with Mason Foster and Sullivan Mounsey on the front row of the grid. Johnny Garness and Clayton Edmonds are on row 2. Row 3 will go to Ronnie Harris and Luca Hopkins, with Ethan Sparks, Harrison McKay, Troy Jeffrey and then Jamie Woodcock. That's your top 10. And then it's Jada Howe ahead of Taylor Stewart-Campbell, with Greg Marshall, Keaton Payne and Jacob Stevenson due to round out the 15-strong grid. So as they make their way onto the grid, Connor Jackson, you mentioned earlier on in the programme the temperatures and the entire weather is much better than it was yesterday, but does that provide some difficult racing for those who've only really had wet running yesterday?
Well, as you say, Dan, for those who have tested and raced also yesterday, it will be an issue. However, you've got to remember they all had warm-up this morning, so assumably they should all now be accustomed to these conditions and maybe back on form with the sort of pace that they're expecting with these bikes. Obviously, a lot of riders will be hoping for a lot better results from yesterday, but especially some of the riders that did qualify at the front but fell back due to various mishaps.
Well, we brace ourselves for the second AC40 Pro race of the weekend. Marshall's just making sure everyone's engines are running cleanly. And Marshall's also moving to the sides of the circuit. Look towards the green flag. We don't start with the light here. We start with the green flag. It goes up, it goes down. There's a big old creep from Clayton Edmonds, we believe, going towards turn 1 for the first time, but everyone into turn 1 for the first time. It's a good run from Mason Foster. Sullivan Mounsey in there as well, fighting well, dropping down actually to third place at the moment. Johnny Garness and Clayton Edmonds doing well so far. So as they make their way into turns 3 and 4 and 5, then the very tight infield complex for the first time out of 9. So far it is so good. Mason Foster getting a great start. So too Sullivan Mounsey onto the back of the battle. But it is Johnny Garness and Mason Foster fighting side by side.
Johnny Garness and Mason Foster actually collided there. Incredible stuff. How they both stayed on, I do not know. But I think Sullivan Mounsey is really caught up with them now. He's right on them anyway. They're coming through the fast right-hander onto this straight. Mason Foster, your champion in the class, of course, leading the way. And Sullivan Mounsey looking to outbreak Johnny Garness down into turn 1. Nearly makes it work. Johnny Garnis just sweeping across, but those three are off and running. Mason Foster is your race leader at the moment. Sullivan Mounsey having a massive look up the inside of Johnny Garnis at turn 3, not able to make it stick.
So gives it a go into turn number 3. There's plenty of time to make a move. We have got 8 laps in this race remaining. So far, Mason Foster ahead of Garnes and Sullivan Mounsey, Connor.
Sadly, as much as I was going to say we've had a clean first lap with no incidents, we have just seen our first rider run into a small bit of issue. I can't quite tell who it is in a minute. He is back going though, so everyone is back running. Back at the front though, we still have those 3 starting to pull away from the rest of the field.
Well, it's quite close between the 3 of them. Over the line once again. 0.266 is the gap between Mason Foster and Johnny Garnes, who's got the fastest lap. Then another 2/10 with Sullivan Mounsey behind, fighting tooth and nail into turns 1 and 2. Sullivan Mounsey, in fact, making the move and going up into second place into turn number 1. And now really on the attack for Mason Foster, our champion of 2018 in this category.
Lovely move by Sullivan Mounsey at turn 1. Let the brakes off, cruised up the inside, blocked past, hit the first apex, ran wide in the middle of the corner, but put Johnny Garnis out to the edge of the circuit where Johnny Garnis couldn't do anything about it. What an end of season Sullivan Mounsey's having this year. He's going to be such a favourite for next year if he comes back to Cool Fab. He really has grown in stature as this year has gone on, and now he chases down the champion of 2018, Mason Foster. Although Mason Foster's pulled out a little bit of a gap, 3/4 of a second, and the fastest lap of the race, a 50.147 for Mason Foster.
In the battle behind, Clayton Edmonds is running 4th, but he is under substantial pressure now from Ronnie Harris, who is really all over the back of him. Luca Hopkins as well remains just about in contention, as the 3 of them really don't seem to have too much between them, but it is Clayton Edmonds just about holding on to 4th as we go into the middle complex.
Should just say that Sullivan Mounsey's second place at the moment would be good enough to put him 3rd overall in the championship standings. He would bag that 3rd place, it would be sealed in. All he needs to do is finish on the podium in whatever position that is, regardless of what Troy Jeffrey does. He cannot lose more than 10 points to Troy Jeffrey, and at the moment he's scoring more points than Troy Jeffrey. Troy Jeffrey down in 7th place.
Mason Foster, your race leader, almost a second now, 0.955 ahead of Sullivan Mounsey. Johnny Garnes in 3rd place at the moment. Clayton Edmonds running in 4th. Our battle for the race lead having gapped just a little bit. It's half a second between Mounsey and Garnes. Clayton Edmonds soaking up that pressure from Ronnie Harris, as Connor mentioned a few moments ago. They're into turns 4. Now it's the first of the infield hairpins. Cambered, slightly shiny track now. The sun is starting to shine in the Lincolnshire Fens, with Luca Hopkins, Troy Jeffrey, Ethan Sparks, Harrison McKay and Taylor Stewart Campbell rounding out the top 10.
I should say though, at the front though, Mason Foster, the first rider to drop below the 50-second mark today, a 49.974, and you can see he is starting to pull out that slight advantage over his 2 rivals, and I think that's just about got him safe for the last couple laps now.
Well, that's certainly helping, and with the fastest lap of 49.9, that's not going to do too badly indeed. Faster than anyone else on circuit. The only person with the fastest lap underneath 50 seconds, just making their way around a few of the riders in this class currently. 5 laps to go, we're around about half distance, and Foster really getting ahead of Mounsey and Garnes now.
Foster using all of his strength in this race now to pull away, use the back markers to his advantage as well. Sullivan Mounsey's not quite done yet, and Johnny Garnes, you've got to feel that Johnny Garnes is going to want to win before this season is out, and he is not quite done with Sullivan Mounsey just yet, so it's not all over at the front. It will be those 3 surely, barring a mistake. So those 3 pulling away at the front. In what order will they finish? We are not quite sure. But 4th place, Clayton Edmonds, he's just done a 50.9. Now that was only 2/10 lower than Sullivan Mounsey, so Clayton Edmonds having a good ride. He's now pulled away from Ronnie Harris and Luca Hopkins, 5th and 6th respectively.
I wouldn't rule out Harris though. He is certainly coming back. That last lap was almost half a second quicker than Edmonds in front, and assuming he doesn't get held up too much by Hopkins, I can really see the fight for 4th coming back to them towards the end of the race.
We shall see how that one plans out for sure. Luca Hopkins has been a top 6 runner all year. He has been something very, very consistent. Got his first podium of the year back at that soaking wet race in Red Lodge. So Luca Hopkins looking to end this season on a high. Mason Foster, though, looking to end this season on an even bigger high. 50.2 that time around. Extends the gap out to nearly 2 seconds now Sullivan Mounsey second, Johnny Garner still third. Just half a second between second and third on track.
Still less than half a second covering Ronnie Harris, Luca Hopkins and Troy Jeffrey going through turns 1 and 2 into turns 2 and 3, left and then right. It's a really quick run. Ronnie Harris battling away with Luca Hopkins and Troy Jeffrey.
Oh, we have an off.
Down as we got somebody goes down on the rider's left hand side at turn 4. They're back onto the bike
and another one at turn 5, a big one at turn 5. Someone lost control of their machine down at turn 5, and that rider is hurt. He's down on the floor. We'll pick him up later. Hopefully he's not too bad. He's got up very, very quickly. Yellow flags will be waved for now. We are going to be taking the leader across the line to start his penultimate lap. Mason Foster is leading this one very, very comfortably at the moment from Sullivan Mounsey. Red flag is out. We have a red flag situation for that fallen rider down at turn 5. We believe that will more than likely be a race result on the penultimate lap, but the red flag is out. It's a premature end to race 2 of the AC40 Pros. A crash there down at turn 5. Let's hope everyone is all okay. But another win then for Mason Foster. A fantastic performance, dazzling again. Sullivan Mounsey in second place, Johnny Garnes in third. So it's been those three really all year in some form of order. Ronnie Harris in fourth, fifth place for Luca Hopkins, and sixth for Clayton Edmonds. Though we must say, though, that confirms Sullivan Mounsey as third in this championship. It confirms Troy Jeffrey as fourth. It also confirms Luca Hopkins as fifth. So that is the top 5. We should just say we are going on the basis that that is a race result, which we believe it will be with just 2 laps left to run.
Well, provisional race results, and Mason Foster winner by 2.5 seconds over 7 laps in that second Junior AC40 Pro race of the weekend. And then it's Sullivan Mounsey in second place ahead of Johnny Garnes, Clayton Edmonds, Ronnie Harris. That's the top 5 with Luca Hopkins. In fact, it seems to be we've rolled back 1 lap. So on lap 6, Mason Foster still then your race winner, with Sullivan Mounsey and Johnny Garnes your top 3, Clayton Edmonds and Ronnie Harris me top 5, with Luca Hopkins, Troy Jeffrey, Ethan Sparks, Harrison McKay and Taylor Stewart Campbell top 10, Jada Howell, Keaton Payne, Greg Marshall, then it's Jamie Woodcock and Jacob Stevenson. We'll wait for further confirmation of the race results in a few moments' time, but due to be out next onto circuits will be the Pit Bike 140 and Moto teams. You're listening to live coverage of round 8 of the 2018 Cool Fab Racing British Mini Bike Championships, the official partner series to the BSB and on the road to MotoGP.
This is Cool Fab Racing. Live coverage all season on the Cool Fab Racing Facebook page and on the website coolfabracing.com.
You're listening to live coverage of Round 8 of the 2018 Cool Fab Racing British Mini Bike Championships. This is the final round of the 2018 season. This is the final day of the 2018 season. Thank you very much for tuning in on motorsport.radio, on the Cool Fab Racing website and on social media. Thank you also for your comments so far. Al Howe is saying, go Jada, go. We've got Lulu Noble saying, come on Clayton Edmonds, we're cheering for you. Archie says, good luck. Shona Howe also saying, good luck Jada. Number 50, love mum. And then Lulu Noble saying, come on dude. So some great support from the guys and girls on the stream so far. Thank you very much for joining us. Please do keep sharing it. Let the whole world know how much you love Cool Fab Racing. We have had people all over the world on holiday. They've been sitting on the beach in Australia. They've been pretty much everywhere been tuned in to our stream. So it's great to see the support that your family, your friends, anyone you know and cares has given us. So please do keep leaving your comments in. At the moment, of course, we are the official partner series to the Bennett's British Superbike Championship and, of course, on the road to MotoGP, of which was racing earlier on this morning. Well, we'll have no spoilers here for those of you who are patiently waiting for it to be happening and watching the actual reviews and the actual stream later on when you have had some good time to do so. We've got plenty of action still to come. Up next will be the Pit Bike 140 and Moto teams. Just a reminder, my name's Dan Martin. Alongside me, as ever, throughout 2018 is Kiko Giles, Connor Jackson, website editor of Motorsport Radio, also here with us this weekend. Well, gentlemen, there's been some fantastic action in the Pit Bike 140 and Moto teams. And really, Kiko, just summarise your thoughts then on yesterday's opening encounter.
It was an interesting encounter because Sam Clowes won the Pit Bike 140 category and his dad, Simon Clowes, won the Moto team category. Now, Simon Clowes mathematically hasn't won the championship yet. Realistically, he has because his nearest two competitors are not in the races this weekend. But there is a battle on in the top of that championship between Jamie King and Harvey Claridge. 20 points between them. It is a championship that is going down to the wire. And I wouldn't want to call who would win that because Jamie King is the reigning champion. Harvey Claridge is the one chasing Jamie down. He is 20 points behind. He's got nothing to lose. Hopefully we're going to get a good finale later on today. It's probably the closest championship that we've got to decide here today.
Well, we've still got a few championships to decide here today. And, well, the Pit Bike 140 Moto teams, Connor, they provide some fantastic action, as Kiko mentioned. Father and son winning in the same race. We think it may be the first time in a very long time when the two Clouses have had victories in both categories together. So it's great to have them doing so well, but there's also some more action to be coming from them. There's two mixes of bikes, there's two different championships mixed into one, which adds another sort of element to the championship, we should say.
Indeed it does, Dan. As you say, it's one of the more open classes, and to have such I don't want to say radically different bikes, but to have many different styles out on track at the same time, it certainly creates interesting racing, and of course they all have different advantages. I know the Moto team bikes are a lot quicker in a straight line. However, on a tight, twisty circuit like this at Tattershall, it really does play into the pit bikes' favour, and we've seen that this weekend actually with the pit bikes really dominating the qualifying sessions and even the races where they've sort of locked out the first 6-7 places.
Yes, well, the Tattershall circuit in Lincolnshire really suiting the Pit Bike 140s this weekend. We've had Moto teams getting a lot closer to the pit bikes in recent race meetings, mostly because the circuits have been a bit quicker, a bit further afield, and also it's just a bit wider, so they have more room to really race them into, whereas Tattershall, a very tight circuit in which to go to, so quite enjoy it. They've got two different race meetings for this particular championship, and as we are currently waiting for them to head out onto circuit later on, then just as a reminder for those of you who've only just joined us, thank you very much for joining us. This is Cool Fab Racing Radio, round 8 of the championship. We have got the Junior LC40 Elites will be the ones out after the Pit Bike 140 and Moto teams. We've got the Senior Mini Motos not too long after them. They had a very dramatic first race of the weekend, as they always seem to do, in the wet especially. And the AC40 rookies will be out after them. The Mini GP 50s will be after them, the Extreme 200s, and then the Mini F1 sidecars are the final race of this morning, and then also the final race of this afternoon. We've got races still to come for most of our categories, and then it will be race 3 starting from 2 o'clock this afternoon. And well, on the road to MotoGP and the official partner series to the BSB, many of the BSB's finest young talents have come from the Cool Fab Racing paddocks. You know, we had Brad Ray racing with us at Cool Fab last time out. We've had many different names to come through this championship, and few more to be going into that kind of series next season.
Bradley Ray obviously doing the business in British Superbikes this year, in the showdown, Suzuka 8-hour rider as well, World Superbike wildcard. So the amount of talent that gets thrown out of this paddock onto the international scene, onto the domestic scene, is huge. Luke Mossey, another one. And, you know, really, you're looking now, you know, Motor Rapido have a massive influence in this championship. They support the likes of Ollie Walker and Ryan Hitchcock, and all those riders are doing very, very well. So, you know, the links are there. A couple of teams are also there. So you've got Finn Smart, supported by the Anvil Hire tag team. And it's just good to have the big national teams coming back to the grassroots level where most motorcycle races began, and supporting the next generation of talent.
And, well, we'll have a few of our riders from the Cool Fab paddocks. They're actually moving into some of the categories in the BSB support group for next season, which is a really good affiliation for them to get their first steps into what we might describe, compared to these bikes, big bike racing, perhaps. And it's another great link that the Cool Fab Racing organisation has with the championships.
It's another great link to get them big bike racing, absolutely. And there is no rush either. You know, lots of riders, they develop at different levels, they develop at different rates. Not everyone can be a Bradley Ray, not everyone can get to a factory supported superbike team by the time they're 20. It's it's not an easy job, it's not a cheap job either as a motorcycle racer, but wherever the support is here at the bottom level of the championship, back here at Cool Fab Racing, you know, it's great to have the support where it all begins, back at grassroots level.
So a great connection to the BSB and of course to MotoGP. We've got plenty more action still to come here from Tattershall in Lincolnshire. This is live coverage of round 8 of the 2018 Cool Fab Racing British Mini Bike Championships.
We're now the official partner series to the BSB. This is Cool Fab Racing. riders. Go, go, go! This is the Cool Fab Racing British Mini Bikes Championship.
You're listening to live coverage of round 8 of the 2018 Cool Fab Racing British Mini Bike Championships. We are live for the final day of the 2018 season from Tattershall in Lincolnshire. Plenty more comments flooding in on social media. Thank you very much for joining us on motorsport.radio, on the Cool Fab Racing website and on social media. We have got Paul Duggan going, saying, go Zach Shelton. That's great news, and hopefully Zach goes very well. And then Doreen Long saying, go Rossi, go. Good luck for today, lol. Nan and Grandad. So very nice to see who you're supporting over the course of the day. Please do keep leaving your comments. Let us know who you're looking out for over the course of today's racing. Also, who you think is going to be doing well. Who could be a hot tip for the championships. And well, the Pit Bike 140 and Moto teams are raring to go in the assembly area before the start of this race. We've got a fantastic championship challenge between Harvey Claridge, and then we've also got a great fight between Harvey Claridge and the number 76, indeed, of Jamie King. We do have a few championships left to decide, and we will cover those, of course, in due course. But the Pit Bike 140 and Moto teams are about to head out onto circuit in a few moments' time. And as the revs build up, the tension builds, and everyone is just desperate to go, aren't they?
Indeed, Dan. It's been an exciting morning so far, and especially as we're now building up, as we mentioned, to the pit bike race, which is always an exciting time to see all of the different styles of bikes that are on track. Obviously, with the grid, obviously Callum Wybrow does lead the way during this race. He'll be hoping for a strong result. It was a bit of a mixed day for him yesterday, wasn't it?
It was quite a mixed day for a few of our riders. It then turned out Sam Clowes, winner in yesterday's first race overall and in the Pit Bike 140 class. In Moto team, the honours went the way of Simon Clowes, so the Clowes both sharing a podium, which is great.
I heard, I was talking to Simon this morning. Apparently they nipped out to IKEA last night for a new trophy cabinet. They had none available, so Jay King had already got there before them. So interesting rivalry off track as well.
So plenty of rivalries going on, not even the battle for who's got the most IKEA cabinets, but Callum Wybrow and Harvey Claridge. They're due to be on the first row of the grid. Sam Clowes and Sean Whittaker will be due to line up on the second row. Felix Hearn and Jamie King are championship contender in the Pit Bike 140 and Moto teams. Well, just in the Pit Bike 140s, realistically, he starts in 6th place. Scott Dootson and Blake Ansell are on row 4, ahead of Henry Majuce and Fraser Kinnaird. Simon Clowes and Jason Pugh are on row 6, ahead of Adam Sweeney, Alistair Kinnaird, Neil Kinnaird and then Iona Glover, rounding out the 16-strong grid. Not the largest we've had over the course of the season, but still it is a very quality entry as per usual here at the Cool Fab Racing. If you are tuned in for the first time, maybe you've seen a few of our events and you want to know how you can get involved. Maybe you think your son or daughter might be interested in some of the juniors racing, if they're the right age to do so. Maybe they're all involved and interested in some of the larger bikes racing here, such as the Pit Bike 140 and Moto teams. Or in fact the senior mini moto races, always some great racing in that category. Well, head over to the Cool Fab Racing website and you'll be able to find out all about our classes here, how you can get involved, how you can start racing in the classes. Plenty of ways to get involved in the championship, not just of course as an entrant but as a marshal if you want to come and help out, or an organiser. Always looking for fresh faces and fresh hands to get involved. And it's great that we've got new people coming into these things, but maybe you want to celebrate someone who has done an exceptional job this year. Maybe you want to nominate the best young rider of the year, the best rider overall
best
of
marshal.
the year, best marshal of the year. We've got awards over on the Motorsport Awards. Please do go and check it out. Nominate. We've got loads of different categories to nominate. You could name best commentator of the year. Not
We're
that
not
any
eligible.
of us. I love how you shoehorn that in. That's the first thing you always had in,
because obviously we
Kiko.
would be your first choice.
As we would, of course, be your first choice as best commentator of the year. But
I know
unfortunately,
who the Marshal of the Year would be.
Unfortunately,
Lee Clowes. I'll make it up to her. I'll give her a good shout out on air. Lee Clowes, I was horrible to you last time. Never mind.
So, for reminders of what Kiko Giles did with Lee Clowes, more specifically what he said about poor Lee Clowes, please head over to motorsport.radio and the Cool Fab Racing website, where you can check out all of the 2018 commentaries, and you can go back, listen to them as an audio podcast, digest the whole race season, and really remember and recall what happened over the course of the 8-round championship. But if you are interested in the Motorsport Awards, head over to Motorsport Awards. We've got a fantastic social media presence. We've got a great website where you can go and discuss, go and tell us who you think deserves a nomination. It's not just for Best Master of the Year, for Best maybe Commentator of the Year, Best Riders and Best Teams. We've got those awards, you know, they're pretty standard awards for an awards category. But we do have the kind of awards. We've got the Best Charity Campaign, Best Social Media and Fan Engagement, something that really inspired you to look at something over the course of this season.
The direct web link is motorsport.radio/awards. It is that simple.
It is that simple to head over motorsport.radio/awards, just one of the ways you can get involved. Search for Motorsport Awards on Facebook, on Twitter, and of course on just on the interwebs, and you will find the Motorsport Awards website where you can go and enter for all of the categories. So please do send over your nominations for our many categories. There's plenty of things to nominate. Maybe you're not particularly interested in nominating a rider or driver. We have awards for 2 wheels, awards for 4 wheels. So it's universal. Let us know who you want to be celebrated. Maybe we could see in a few months' time. December the 9th is when we have the awards ceremony, and maybe you'll see a few of the riders and organisers here from the Cool Fab Racing paddocks being celebrated for their fantastic work over 2018. But you're listening to live coverage of round 8 of the 2018 Cool Fab Racing British Mini Bike Championships. We're live from Tattershall in Lincolnshire on motorsport.radio, on the Cool Fab Racing website, and on social media. Thank you very much for leaving all of your comments so far. We will getting through to reading a few more of those in a short period of time. My name is Dan Marr, alongside me Kiko Giles and Connor Jackson. Connor Jackson, your first weekend really celebrating and enjoying the Cool Fab Racing Championships, and we've had some great racing already from the Mini GP70s and the AC40 Pros, 2 of the junior categories, really showing us how some of the racing can be held at this very tight 1 kilometre long circuit.
Indeed, Dan, it's been an exciting morning so far, and unlike yesterday, the weather has certainly stayed as bright and as sunny as we hope and expect it to be for what is a celebratory end to the season for a lot of these riders. Obviously, the circuit itself does provide a unique challenge, but a lot of the riders do know how to negotiate the circuit, as we've already been here once this season for a lot warmer round than this, let's say. But we still have an exciting number of races ahead, especially with some championships still to decide towards the end of the day, and of course the awards ceremony that we will do this evening.
Yes, we will be at the presentation evening for the Cool Fab Racing at 7:15. If you are on site, please do come and join us in. The rumours are at the moment that it's going to be in the clubhouse, somewhere nice and dry, with a lovely log fire to set a really nice ambience for the awards evening. But
very 1980s.
Well,
no, it's not, because a fire in the 80s would be coal. And of course, we are famous for not having any of that anymore.
All right, Kiko, let's not get political.
So, well, it's funny you mention that. My 8 generations of my family were coal miners, so we're all from sort of Lincolnshire and this side of the world. Wow. But regardless of our family history, this isn't that popular television programme, but we've got plenty of action still to come here. We were due to get away with the Pit Bike 140 and Moto Team Race 2 at 11:05. We are running about 20 minutes behind at the moment, just for a red flag, but we will get underway in a short period of time. The Junior LC40 Elites are due to be out after the next race. Then the Senior Mini Motos, the AC40 Rookies, the Mini GP50s, followed by the Extreme 200s, and of course the Mini F1 sidecars. That will bring us to the end of this morning's action at around 1 o'clock. That may be a little later. We will keep you updated with the times as and when we have them. But we will do this all again after 2 o'clock as well, starting with the Mini GP70s once again at 2 o'clock. 2:15 for the AC40 Pros, third and final race of the weekend. The Pit Bike 140 and Moto teams, again due to be out at 14:35. At 10:03 for the Junior LC40 Elites. Senior Mini Motos at 3:05. 3:25 will be the AC40 Rookies. Then at 3:45, the Mini GP50s. At 4 o'clock, around 4 o'clock dead, it's the Extreme 200s. The Mini F1 sidecars rounding us off for the weekend and for the season at 20 minutes past 4. And as we are just in a brief red flag period at the moment, waiting for the start of the Pit Bike 140 and Moto Team second race of the weekend. Just as a quick reminder, all riders who happen to be sat waiting for the next race to come along, please do head over to the commentary box. It's just underneath race control. It is a little bit of a walk, but if you've not got much else to do, come and have a leisurely stroll. It's lovely on a Sunday morning. And it would be great to have a few riders on the other side of the circuit come and have a quick chat with us. Let us know what you're thinking right before your big race, the second race of the weekend. One of the more nervous points in the weekend, because unlike the first race in a weekend, for example, you might be thinking, okay, well, just get this weekend off to a good start. The second race is always that tentative one, because you don't want to push too hard because you want to be in a good place for race 3. But then you don't want to really be too slow because you could lose a load of points and cost yourself a championship potentially.
You don't want to ride too precariously. That's the bottom line. You don't want to cost yourself anything really. But it's all about trying to maintain a steady and consistent run through the year. You don't want to be winning and crashing, but you don't want to be around 8th or 9th but finishing every race. So,
this is true, yes.
You know, there's a balancing act.
Of course, Kiko, as you say, we've seen this season, especially a lot of the championship runners, the results do come down to how well they finish the race. I have seen a number of championships this season where the riders do have an exceptional second half to the year, and as a result really pull themselves back into championship contention despite having quite a poor opening few rounds.
Yes, they can struggle from time to time. Please do ignore my colleague he doesn't. If you are tuned into our visual radio stream on social media, thank you very much for joining us. But there is. We do have, as I have to remind all our listeners, we do have a producer talking to us in our ears, which is why me and Kiko sometimes start giggling. Is because we're being told things in our ears. We're not going completely mad, although we are quite nuts. But as Lester Forbes is currently treating himself to the treating ourselves to some comments, he can try and tell us what he's talking about. No, he's decided to mute it. So, our producer, our lovely producer, Mr. Lester Forbes. A big thank you to Lester Forbes over the course of the season. He has been doing a very good job producing our fantastic coverage here at the Cool Fab Racing Championships. And if you're just tuned in, we are just under a red flag condition at the moment after the end of the AC40 Pros. We are waiting for the start of the Pit Bike 140 and Moto teams. They will be due out in just a short period of time. But we do have the confirmation then of the race result for the AC40 Pros. It is Mason Foster, your race winner, ahead of Sullivan and Mounsey. Johnny Garness, Clayton Edmonds and Ronnie Harris is your top 5.
Harvey Claridge, if you're not doing anything, you can come over and join us over in this commentary box. We know you're wasting your time over there talking to your friends. Come and do a bit of an interview with us. Anyone's welcome, of course, but Harvey Claridge, you are our preference because, you know, we like a good chat with you, Harv.
And, yes, Harvey Claridge, please do head over to the culture box, have a quick word with us, and in fact, anyone else, if you do want to have a on-air conversation with us, we do not discriminate against whoever wants to come to the commentary box. It's great to have your insight into the racing action. And well, the sunshine is now coming out, Connor Jackson, website editor for Motorsport Radio. The weather much different compared to yesterday's wet and inclement weather.
Indeed, we've already seen that this morning with the first two races, especially with riders being able to stay on track this time. Yesterday was very notable for the fact it was treacherous for all of the classes of varying experience. It all proved to be too much for a lot of them, and it's created some real drama, especially in a couple of the early races. I know the first race of the day we only had 6 runners that ended up finishing just because of the conditions that we had on track. But no, it is a lot more dry today, a lot more sunny, and hopefully we should be able to get the best out of these bikes.
Well, hopefully the riders will be able to get the best out of the bikes. The riders are due to be coming out in just a few moments' time, we believe. Kiko Giles, you're definitely an expert in the bike world, and of course it's not just the cool FAB Racing stuff you do. The Superbike Show, join us every Thursday more or less from 8 PM, where you can join us in the conversation for all of the fantastic things going on in the world of motorcycle racing. And well, big highlights coming up in the next few weeks, of course. The finale for the Bennett's British Superbike Championship, that's next weekend, I believe. So
it is at Brands Hatch, the Bennett's British Superbike Championship coming to a crescendo at Brands Hatch. But of course, we'll be talking all things Thai this week. The Thai Grand Prix having a brilliant debut. I'm not going to say any more than that.
Yes, well, many of our people in the paddock don't want to know the real reasons or anything that's gone on. Any spoilers, basically. No spoilers. We don't do spoilers here at Motorsport Radio. And please do also head over to motorsport.radio. Plenty of articles on in the world of motorcycle racing, and of course in four-wheeled land as well. Connor Jackson, website editor, primarily dealing in junior single-seater categories, of course. There's plenty of variety on our websites to enjoy, isn't there?
Indeed, Dan, and of course motorcycle racing is one of just the many different aspects that we cover over on Motorsport Radio. It's been an interesting season, so far, and it's certainly one that we're all excited to see come to the end of, especially with all of the championships still yet to be decided. I know Kiko is very excited about some international motorcycle racing that was happening this morning, and of course that we've seen in a variety of series this season.
We've seen a lot of things over, and I think I see something on my horizon. There is the Clouds clan, and I believe Harvey Claridge has heard.
Put it on the screen, Lester Forbes.
We've requested him. Either that or they're coming to beat us up. They look very businesslike at the moment.
So for those of you who are tuning in on social media, we have got 3 riders walking up to race control at the very least anyway. We'll be able to see in the middle of the screen at the moment. Very purposeful as they make their way through. We do believe we've got the 2 Clouses.
They've heard us talking about them now. They've turned back on.
They're trying to decide whether they're going to go one way or the other way. Lester Forbes runs off from the exit of the commentary box.
I want Simon Clouse's glasses.
One of them in. And we've got both of them walking in at the moment, so we may well actually get the interview that we were hoping for. So who knows, we're going to see if we can grab them on mic at the moment. But as they make their way into the commentary box, Sam Clowes on his way in, and Harvey Claridge. So fantastic, we've got 2 guests to join us in the commentary box. If we can just relegate our 2 colleagues here, we'll shoehorn the pair of you in. Welcome to Sam Clowes. You are on camera, so please no swearing, no rude gestures of any kind. And as we'll just move you guys, just if you want to step a little bit to your left there, Harvey, we'll try and fit you all into the camera. So 2 guests joining us here at round 8 of the 2018 Cool FAB Racing British Mini Bike Championships. We have got Well, who is in it? Who is it? Who have you come to tell us about?
Sam Clowes. I won the race yesterday on the pit bike 140s, and the man stood next to me is
Harvey Claridge.
So Harvey Claridge and Sam Clowes come to join us for a very quick chat. First of all, how much activity is there going on in the assembly area at the moment? Did someone actually come up to you and say, look, these guys are just haven't got anything to talk about, go and rescue them for a bit?
No, really, everyone's just getting a little bit frustrated and a little bit, just tentative, really. As you can probably imagine, when you sat there thinking that you're going to go out next, and then people and ambulances and stuff like that, it sort of gets a little bit worrying and stuff like that. While you sat there, your tyres are getting cold. Pretty much.
Yeah, it's really frustrating.
Well, I can imagine it's frustrating. You two had an interesting race in the rain yesterday. Well done, Sam, first of all, for winning overall. And with Simon winning in the moto team category. Is that the first time that both of you have won a race in category at the same time?
I believe that's the first time that Clowes and Clowes have won together. It was very interesting. It was a very good experience when we got back to the pit garage, and I was happy, and my dad comes in, and he was obviously really happy and excited. So yeah.
So it's great that both of you had some great success. Simon, more or less, winning the Moto Team Championship as well, which he was explaining to us last night over dinner. First solo championship that he's won as well, which is quite a feat.
Yeah, because my dad's been racing for many a year. He's 55 now, and he's been racing since he was about 24. And he's done the Manx Grand Prix and all that lot. And he's never actually won a championship. He's won team championships, but he's never won a solo championship. And yeah, he was quite excited yesterday, and a little tear in his eye maybe.
I find that quite hard to believe. Simon, a great character in the Cool Fab paddock, but you do find it sometimes hard to believe Simon having a tear in his eye.
Oh no, he definitely gets quite emotional sometimes.
Oh really?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
So, whilst that was a great result for you, Harvey, another interesting race for you this season. The Pit Bike 140 and Moto Team Championship is one that you quite enjoy battling through, don't you?
Yeah, it's great fun here at FAB, and I really love this championship because it's really good just to have a little fun with your friends.
And of course you race in various other championships. Just remind our listeners what else you've been doing this season.
This season I've been racing in the British Talent Cup and the BSB Motostar.
And first of all, how is the first season of the British Talent Cup? How have you found it? What's the organisation like? Has it been really good for your rider development?
Yeah, it's really good. It's really fun, and I've been progressing through the year. It's really good.
And you've been enjoying the moto, the other category as well in BSB?
It's been really good.
And are you looking to do those again next year? Have you got any firm plans and offers yet, or are you just going to see what the winter brings?
See what the winter brings.
Man of very few words there, Harvey, but it's good. Keep it short and simple. I think Kimi Räikkönen's nailed that effect. When no one just asks him for interviews anymore, they just don't bother.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't know, because it's weird what you sometimes see riders and drivers in really professional championships do, because Lewis Hamilton, of course, we'll mention Formula 1 very briefly. He does music.
Do we have to?
I know we have to. There's only one analogy. He does music, right? But Kimi Räikkönen has come out with a book of haikus, which is quite eccentric. I think I know probably not. I wouldn't imagine, say, Valentino Rossi doing that, or Marc Marquez coming out with a poetry book. To be honest,
no, I wouldn't imagine them coming out with poetry books, especially definitely Marquez. I imagine he's not exactly a man of poetry.
I got Kiko Joel's laughing in the background at that one. So, but then looking to the rest of the day, 2 more races for you guys to enjoy. So, what sort of things are you expecting as well? We've got one of the guests is about to join us as well, so we'll try and shoehorn them in just a second as well. But looking to the rest of the day then, weather conditions starting to get a lot warmer. How is that going to affect your riding?
Yeah, definitely. As the track warms up, you get a lot more grip in the circuit, and you should see lap times tumble definitely in the later part of the day, as long as the rain stays away. And it should prove some good racing, seeing if the likes of Max Cook can come from the back of the grid, obviously not being out yesterday, and can come out and maybe catch Harvey and Callum Wybrow.
So it'll be a good battle with you, Harvey. Looking for another good result?
Yeah, I'm trying to get a good result, because yesterday it wasn't the best after a couple crashes in the race and gave it away to Sam, but I'm hoping for a good result today to hopefully get the championship off Jay, but it's quite a big gap.
Well, that's going to be quite a challenge between yourself and Jamie King, fighting for the championship in the Pit Bike 140 category. Thank you to Sam Clowes and to Harvey Clarence for joining us here in the commentary box. Thank you very much. If anyone else wants to come and join us in the commentary box, please do head over to Just By Race Control. We've got quite the queue developing at the moment for riders. we've got what seems like half of the paddock coming up to the commentary box to come and join us. So if you guys want to come and jump on in, this is probably one of the more surreal things I've done in my career, and I've done some quite eccentric things in my time. In fact, if you just want to chuck those ones on for a second then, Sullivan, I'll just put them on that way round, and then you just grab that. Okay, and we've got one more jumping in actually, so if we want to get another rider to come through.
Oh yeah.
Live radio this, ladies and gentlemen. Right, so we might hear a slight difference in my voice for a second. We've got three riders now coming in to the. Now got three riders coming in to the commentary box. If you do want to come and have an interview, which seems like half of the paddock want to come and have an interview, it's great to see the enthusiasm that the young boys and girls here are showing for the championships. We'll just get you to introduce yourselves now. So first of all, from left to right on the screen, let us know who you are. What do you race in, first of all?
My name's Ollie Walker.
Okay.
And I race in the 50s and 70s.
So we've got Ollie Walker from the 50s and the 70s. The man in the middle needs no introduction, but let us know who you are anyway.
My name's Sullivan Mounsey. I race in Pro and LC for Hyundai Power Equipment.
So Sullivan Mounsey, and we've also got
Owen Mella, and I race in the Mini GP 70s class.
So we've got three of our young riders from a few of our junior categories here. It's been an interesting weekend's racing so far for you guys, though, hasn't it? I suppose some real challenging conditions out yesterday.
Yeah.
It was really tough because in LC my dad said just keep on going because there's only 10 people, so you'll still get a decent amount of points, and it was really tough in liquid. But in Pro today I got 1 second today and 1 second yesterday, which I'm quite happy about because now I've came third in the championship.
So congratulations there for coming third in the championship, Sullivan.
Thank you.
Ollie Walker, you've been out a few times this weekend already in the Mini GP bikes. How do they suit this Tattershall circuit? It's a bit tight and twisty, isn't it?
It's pretty hard with the conditions, but it's quite grippy in some parts, but where it's bumpy it's more slippery, where you got to be careful.
And it was very slippery yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
How did you find the wet weather conditions?
It was okay. You got to have a lot of consistency and smoothness to stay on the bike.
And you've really found that you've been able to do that over the course of this season then?
Yeah.
And what's your plan for next year then, Ollie? Are you going to be coming back and doing these bikes again, or have you got bigger plans to be getting on with?
I'm just going to do 50s and 70s again.
So we're looking forward to having you back next year, Ollie. And then Dylan, first of all, you've been out a few times as well. Some great battling yesterday.
Yeah. Yesterday there was basically 10 people didn't finish the race. There was only 6 people left in, so basically all you have to do is stay on. But unfortunately on the last lap I crashed.
I was just about to say, you managed to stay on and get a good result, but not quite. But that's the challenge in motorcycle racing though, isn't it? It's so easy to do really well until the very end, and then Lady Luck just take it away from you.
Yeah.
And looking to the rest of this weekend, it's a lot more sunny than it was yesterday, isn't it? So that should hopefully make it a bit better for you to ride in.
Yeah, it was good today. My first race was I came 4th, and it was me and Rossi battling, and yeah, it was a close race.
So very close race, and you're looking forward to more of the same this afternoon.
Yep.
And next year then, what are your plans?
I'm not sure really. I wanna go up to do BSB, but we can't really afford it, so I think we're just going to stay here either on the 70 or on a pit bike.
Well, best of luck to all three of you over the course of this weekend. We've got yet more guests here in the commentary box. If you are listening here trackside, thank you very much for sticking with us. Thank you also for joining us on motorsport.radio, on the Cool Fab Racing website and on social media. Thank you very much to Ollie Walker, to Sullivan Mounsey and Dylan Mellor for joining us. And well, we're going to get a few more of your friends coming in now Sorry, Owen, that's Owen Mellor joining us. There's too many different names of too many different families. It's an all-family affair, but thank you very much for joining us. We've got a few more to come in at the moment. Let's see who else we've got waiting for us. It's a very long line at the moment. We do seem to be getting through it. It's a bit like going for... If you just want to stand in the middle, now you should be able to see yourselves on the screen. So, right, we'll leave my producer, Lester Forbes, to... Is that one going to be long enough, Lester? Might not be long enough, right. There we go, just about enough reach. So we've got 3 more joining us in the commentary box. It is fantastic, the family atmosphere here at Cool Fab Racing. You're listening to live coverage of round 8 of the 2018 Cool Fab Racing British Mini Bike Championships. Should be currently under red flag conditions. We'll get the Pit Bike 140 and Moto Team second race of the weekend out in a short while. But we've got some more guests joining us in the commentary box. Just let us know who you are first of all. What are you racing?
I'm Mason Johnson and I race the Mini GP 50s.
So we've got Mason Johnson joining us. We're moving on to next to you.
I'm Dylan Mellor and I race the Mini GP 50s with Mason.
So we've got Dylan Mellor joining us. We've also got...
My name's James Cook and I race in the 50s and in the LC40.
So we have got 3 of our young riders joining us here once again in the Mini GP 50s. Well, great action yesterday, wasn't it? Very wet, but you managed to just about get through. How were the conditions out there for you guys?
It was pretty slippy, but I handled it.
Yeah, it was like the same, but I unfortunately crashed on the 3rd lap. But yeah.
Well,
I managed to stay on and get a 2nd place.
Well, congratulations, Mason. You had a great race yesterday, didn't you? Some really great moves, trying to take the lead. Really fought very well yourself as well. Obviously, there, Dylan. I mean, these Mini GP 50s. What do you guys like about them?
Well, they have like good handling and they're not like small like the minis, so yeah, I just like the bigger bikes more. Yeah,
fair enough. Generally just they're slightly bigger so you can run them a bit faster. And I'm assuming you guys are going to be looking forward to maybe moving up to the 70s next season, or are you looking to stay back in the 50s?
Yeah, well, I think I'm going in the 70s, but maybe the next year after I might go to the Moto4 in Spain.
Okay, and Dylan, what about yourself?
I'll be doing 70s with my brother Owen, or we might be moving somewhere else or something.
I'm going to do the Mini GP 70s.
And then just very quickly, what have all of your 3 of your highlights been of the season then?
Wow, the last round of Whittam Mill I got 3 firsts and 1st overall, so I was really happy about that.
So that's a really good result for you there, James. Dylan and Mason, what did you enjoy about this season?
On the first round I got 2nd, and this round got a 3rd so far, and hoping to get more in the other races.
So best of luck to you there. And then Mason?
Well, I had a good season at the start, but then I had a big crash and then I missed 1 round out, so...
Well, best of luck for all of you for 2019. We're hoping for more great results from you young guys in a short period of time when the next Mini GP 50 race will be out. Thank you very much for joining us, and still got more to come in. It's absolutely fantastic, the amount of support that everyone is showing us. Thank you very much for joining us in the commentary box very briefly. If anyone else wants to come for a quick interview with us in the commentary box, please do come and join us. And it's great to have. It's a bit like this. This is the only thing I can probably describe it as is when you have the post-race interviews. When you go into the big booths and they do all the post-race interviews, speaking to all the riders and letting us know who they are. So if you just want to move slightly further to the left, and we'll try and squeeze you all in just a little bit further to the left. There we go. Right. So let us know from right to left. Let us know who you are. What do you race in?
I'm Taylor Lawrence, I race in Mini GP 70.
So we've got Taylor Lawrence joining us. We've got
Greg Marshall, and I race in 8040 Pro.
Greg Marshall, and then just on the left.
I'm Carl Payne, and I race in the GP 50 and 70s.
So we've got 2 of our riders in from the GP 70s. The first race this morning, and that must have been... I bet, how early did you have to wake up this morning so you could be first out?
Quite early.
Not an early riser then?
No.
No, well, we don't always become morning people, that's the trouble. But I suppose in the sport you just sort of have to be, don't you?
Yeah.
But, so first race of the day, you've had 2 races this weekend, and well, that must be a good feeling to sort of having already got most of the way through your weekend.
Yeah, it's really good.
How did your race go then?
Yesterday I started 9th, got up to P4, and I was chasing after the podium, but then on the fast right-hander I dropped it, and the bike wouldn't get started again.
Oh, that's a shame there for yourself then, Taylor, and then also Kyle.
The race today didn't really go that well in the 70s because I got a flat tyre.
Oh, how did that happen?
I don't know.
Oh, that's not good. I mean, yesterday's race, how did that go for you?
I didn't do it.
Good weekend so far then, Kyle.
Yeah.
But hopefully race 3, they always say luck comes in 3, so hopefully you get a good result in the 3rd race and the final race of the season. And for next year then, are you two going to be coming back to the GP70s as well, or are you going to be doing other cool fab races, maybe pit bikes or something?
Possibly coming back.
Possibly coming back. That's a very wry smile on your face. Have you got other plans for next season, or?
Maybe.
Maybe. You can't say, can you, or
No.
do you just not want to tell us?
I just can't say at the minute.
Oh, that's a shame. I'm trying to think of a way to get you to tell us, but maybe not. No, best of luck for your next season then, Taylor. Obviously, Kyle, are you going to be coming back next year?
Yeah, I'm going to be doing the 50s and 70s again.
I suppose a year of experience is going to really help with your confidence, I bet.
Yeah.
So that's good that you'll be coming back. Greg Marshall then as well. The smaller bikes, are you looking to move up to the slightly bigger bikes like these gentlemen here?
Not next year.
Not-
Not next year, but the year after maybe.
So-
Just doing pros again next year.
And how have you enjoyed the pros this season?
Well, I started off in rookies up until Tattershall round 3, and then at Rower I went into the pros, and that went quite well.
So you continued on with the pros for the rest of the season?
Yeah.
And what's the difference then between the rookies and the pros? Is it just the pace, or is there a little bit more power from the engines? Or?
A lot more power, and everyone's just a bit quicker.
Well, it is a very quick championship, the AC40 Pros. Best of luck for next season, and hopefully we get to have you back in the commentary box very soon. And thank you all for joining us. And if you just let us know what. Okay, we might talk MotoGP then. Have any of you seen the results of the race, or?
No.
No, well, we're not going to do any spoilers then. We won't do any spoilers. We'll make sure we don't do anything. But for this year's championship, it's all gotten really close. But who do you think's going to do it?
I think Marcus is going to do it, but I would like Dovey to win one maybe next year.
And you two?
Marquez.
So 100% are saying Marquez. Well, that's good omen there. So thank you very much for all you guys for joining us. Well, thank you very much for joining us on the social media, on Facebook, on Twitter, on the Cool Fab Racing websites, and on motorsport.radio. You're listening to live coverage of round 8 of the 2018 Cool Fab Racing British Mini Bike Championships. In fact, if you just want to put this one on Connor Jackson, we will have one thing. You may understand, as we now have to readjust the camera again, this is not, in fact, a small child, but it is Connor Jackson, the website editor of Motorsport Radio. We are just in the period of adjusting the cameras, so the many different trials and tribulations of commentary here. But thank you very much to all of our young riders for joining us. It has been an interesting and very nice way of sort of understanding and hearing how young riders go about their careers. Basically, this is the start of the careers for many of these young riders.
Oh yes, Dan, and it reminds me very much from personal experience of the days back in the junior karting leagues, where a lot of young karters like myself would be very enthused about the ride ahead of them, and of course the journey making it up to that section would be just as enthralling. And of course these are just the equivalent on two wheels. A lot of these riders we will see in bigger leagues in years to come, and of course these are all names to watch out for, aren't they? Obviously it's a fantastic day here, and it does look like we are going to be getting racing in the near future, so hopefully we shouldn't be waiting too much longer for some action back on track.
Well, hopefully there will be some action in the not too distant future. We are waiting for the next race, the Pit Bike 140 and Moto Team race here from round 8 of the 2018 Cool FAB-Racing British Mini Bike Championships. Thank you very much for sticking with us on social media, on the motorsport.radio website and on the Cool FAB-Racing. Plenty of action still to come here from Tattershall in Lincolnshire, the final round of 2018. The sun is shining and, well, we are looking forward to some fantastic action here at Cool FAB-Racing.
The original and best British championships for mini bikes. This is Cool FAB-Racing. FAB-Racing British Mini Bikes Championship, the official partner series to the BSB.
Round 8 of the 2018 Cool FAB-Racing British Mini Bike Championships. We're still live in Tattershall in Lincolnshire, still in an extended red flag period, but we should hopefully be getting away with the racing action again in just a short while. My name's Dan Marr, alongside me is Connor Jackson. Kiko Giles off to go and poach us some more guests. If you haven't joined us a few moments ago, you missed out. We had a really big queue for riders. Going to have a few interviews. We had Sam Clowes, Harvey Claridge, we had a great many riders from the Mini GP 70s and the Mini GP 50s. So really a compendium of riders to add to the interview collection, I suppose, Connor Jackson. But there is more than just racing to go on today. We have got the presentation evening starting from 7:15. If you are a few hours away from the Tattershall circuit, you've not been here to come to see the racing, but you can come down for the awards. You might as well come down for the awards. And speaking of awards, the Motorsport Awards. See what I did there? It's on my elbow. Motorsportawards.com. Head over, go and sign up. You can go and nominate a few different riders, and you can go and put in all your information. Let us know who you want to see win a Motorsport Awards, whether they're your favourite and best rider of the year, best young rider of the year. Perhaps they are the best marshal, been working extremely hard over the course of the season. Unsung heroes, maybe someone behind the scenes who puts in all the time and effort that you just don't get to see, and they do so much hard work but no one can truly appreciate what they do. Well, nominate them and we will see who wins a Motorsport Award on December the 9th. Motorsportawards.com or motorsport.radio/awards. You can go register. Let us know who you're tipping for a Motorsport Award. Marshals, best fan campaigns, maybe best marshals. And, well, we are going to say we've got a few comments coming in. We've got Laura Ansell saying, go Blakey. And we've got proud of you always, Taylor Lance from Claire Marie. And we've got a few people. Joanne Whitehouse saying hello. Hello, Joanne. Thank you for joining us. And saying good mention to Ty Woffenden, then the World Speedway champion, 3-time World Speedway champion. So a big mention to them at the moment. So plenty of action still to come here from Tattershall. Kiko Giles rejoins us. You've been hunting riders for a few interviews. You were
herding them.
Herding them. You were responsible for the very big queue outside our door then.
Got to keep you out of trouble, Dan.
Well, keep me in trouble, more like it. But nonetheless, it's warming up outside. What are the conditions out there, Michael Fish?
They're wet underfoot, I'm afraid to say. I will get some shoes on next time.
For those of you who didn't hear that, Lester Forbes saying, put some shoes on then. Don't forget, Kiko isn't talking to himself. He's got a producer in his ear that's actually feeding back to him. So
I have completely lost the plot now.
Did you have it to begin with?
No.
Over. There we go. Anyway, as hopefully the madness will end in a short period of time. The Pit Bike 140 and Moto Team riders starting to make their way back to the assembly area ahead of a race start. Hopefully we shall get that underway in the not too distant future. Plenty of action, and it's great to have Sam Clowes coming to join us and celebrating in the victory for himself and for his father. So really quite proud family, that one, isn't it?
They are a proud family. I hope they get their trophy cabinet situation sorted, though.
Well, I'm sure they'll find something to keep yourselves entertained. But we are due to be getting away with the race start for the Pit Bike 140 and Moto teams in a few moments' time. As the weather starts to warm up, it's 4 degrees apparently outside. It's actually 4 degrees colder than it was yesterday, despite the fact the sun's out there. So, good weather, that.
Reliable weather system, I believe, Dan.
Very reliable, as ever. But
my weather app actually tells me it's 8 degrees outside.
Well, we are underway then with a green flag lap for the riders going out there at the moment. The Pit Bike 140 and Moto teams are out on circuit at the moment, and the grid will line up as follows. It is Callum Wybrow and Harvey Claridge on the front row of the grid. Sam Clowes and Sean Whittaker are on row 2. Felix Hearn and Jamie King are on row 3. Scott Dootson and Blake Ansell are on row 4 ahead of Harry Majuce and Fraser Kinnaird. Simon Clowes in fact will be in 11th place ahead of Jason Pugh, with Adam Sweeney, Alistair Kinnaird. Then it's Neil Kinnaird and Iona Glover. 16 riders who are going to have 2 warm-up laps to get themselves into the rhythm, into the mood and everything else ahead of the race start. Second race of the weekend for the Pit Bike 140 and Moto teams. About 50 minutes delayed. So due to that extended red flag period, wait and see though what happens. We should claw back some of that time later on, so we will hope for another clean race. 12 laps then in prospect, Kiko Giles, and what are your predictions ahead of this one?
Well, this one's quite an important one. It's all about Jamie King versus Harvey Claridge. It is that battle for the championship, of course, in the PB140s. And Simon Clowes obviously just needs to score a few points to mathematically confirm that he is the champion this year in the moto teams. Max Cook is out there today as well, so Max Cook wasn't out yesterday. visibility is there. Kevin Gritton as well making a return.
So, any reason why those two weren't out yesterday? Were they just not here, or?
Max Cook has been here, but he was not racing, so I don't know there. I haven't seen Kevin Gritton's name all weekend, so he must have just turned up today. Part-timers. Who needs them?
A few riders. There's quite a much larger entry than we've had over. So we've got a few riders, in fact, who are on the entry list who weren't there yesterday. We'll give you all that information in just a few moments' time. There's something going on at turn 1. So as the rest of the grid are just running up. There's a rider running back to his bike. It may have been the transponders fallen off. We'll try and get a image of that on the visual radio. Thank you very much for joining us on social media, on the Motorsport Radio website, and on the Cool Fab Racing pages. Thank you for joining us. We've had our hour of filling, and now we are ready with the racing. It's due to be a front row consisting of Callum Wybrow and Harvey Claridge, but the likes of Max Cook starting at the back. We've got Elliot Lodge in there. We've got the likes of Blake Ansell, Kevin Gritton in there as well. It may well be Harvey Claridge whose transponder may have fallen off. We suspect that's what it was anyway. We're not going to suggest too much. We're not sure at the moment, but the riders getting into position. It's a very large grid. We've got a few stragglers at the back still making their way through the third and final sector of this lap. So it does take a little while to get everyone into the right place and into position. And
just
as
waiting for the riders to move up.
So yeah, everyone just getting into position.
Lois Claridge and Roger Keys, they're just pushing everyone forward.
This is the problem when we only get a few qualifying in racing yesterday, but more today, is they've all got to decide where they're going to be. But hang on, I turned up at 6 and you were here at 6:01. Doesn't that mean I should be ahead of you? It probably will be something along those lines. All we know is it will be very interesting heading into turn 1 for the first time out
Always
of
is.
12.
Let's hope they keep it clean.
And as the revs start to build up then, we have got quite a many of our riders ready and looking towards Lee Clowes, the start line. Moving back now, green flag goes up, holds it in the air, a little bit of creeping, but we get underway again. And we are racing in a pit by 140 and Moto teams into turn 1 for the first time. It's a good start from our front runners. There's a bit of contact going down into turn number 1. I'm not sure who they are. Just a bit of contact. They're trying to get back onto the bike, but the race continues in. This is a 12-lap race. Ryder is back onto the bike that fell at turn number 1. A big gap already. Harvey Claridge making a great start, trying to romp off with the lead in a way that he didn't yesterday. But all we know is that Sam Clouds is a real danger in this category. Through the infield section, you go left, right, and then left again. 3 very tight hairpins. And it all gets a bit tight for comfort. They all just about manage to carry on though.
Obviously, with such a large grid at the start, 21 runners starting the race, there was always going to be very tight on the opening lap, and as we've seen, however, other than that one faller, we still have 20 of them in that leading pack, and they're going side by side into turn 1. It is really close in the midfield.
Harvey Claridge leading the way to the tune of 2.6 seconds over Callum Wybrow. So what a start that is for Harvey Claridge. Blake Ansell there in 3rd place. 4th place belongs to Sean Whittaker ahead of yesterday's winner, Sam Clowes. Felix Hearn 6th. Hopefully he doesn't have any bad luck this time. I tell you, Simon Clowes had a brilliant start. Simon Clowes up to 7th place. 8th place is Jason Pugh, Bernie Hook and Jamie King round out the top 10. That is a disaster for Jamie King. He would be losing a whole load of points there. In fact, he would be losing 19 points.
So the gap would be down to 1, isn't it?
Well, he'd be 8th in class, so he would be losing 17 points. The gap would be down to 3. That makes it an incredible prospect for later on today. So race 3 setting up to be a championship decider of the highest order. Harvey Claridge, though, is leading this way so far.
And 4.6 seconds, really going very well at the front of the field. Callum Wybrow, though, is under pressure from Blake Ansell. The two nose to tail into turn number 4, really having to rotate the bikes. They're almost on top of each other. There's someone down at turn 4 as well, and then someone follows Max Cook going off as well. They both lose the front tyres. They both get on and back underway. So a slight mishap there, never good for them, but they do continue, which is the key thing for them at this stage of the race. There's still 11 laps left to go. Lap 2 just been completed. On to lap 3 for Harvey Claridge. 48.724 is the fastest lap. The gap now is 7.3 seconds in 3 laps from Callum Wybrow, but Blake Ansell right on the back of Callum Wybrow wants that second place, wants to consolidate it as soon as he can. He's not going to get much time to do it though into turns 2 and 3, left and right, the bike squiggling around, snaking, it just would not grip. A little bit of understeer is going to mean Callum Wybrow comes under increased pressure, trying to go right around the outside into the left-hander, can't quite make the move. Stu.
Callum Wybrow just about staying in front of Blake Ansell at the moment, but you get the feeling it's a matter of when, not if, for Blake Ansell. He's cutting tight through out of turn 8 up towards turn 9, not quite able to do so. Jason Pugh having a look on the inside of Max Cook as well. That is all over 11th place. Oh, sorry, that was Scott Dupton over at 11th place on this circuit at the moment, but Harvey Cloud just clearing off the front, 8 seconds already to the good Callum Wybrow. Still has,
and he's
lost it. He's down into 3rd place now. Blake Ansell has got into 2nd place, so Blake Ansell is your new silver medalist as it stands. The back markers playing their part there, but it is Blake Ansell in 2nd place. Now then, I don't think he's going to do anything about Harvey Claridge. We're going to have a great battle now on for this 2nd place.
Well, 2nd place still to be contested at the moment. Wybrow going through 5 and 6 at the moment, giving it a good challenge. Harvey Claridge though 8 seconds up the road, has up sticks and left. 50.5 was the last time. We got yellow flags down at turn 6. There's a rider just on the bike, they're just trying to get the bike restarted. Much warmer temperatures than yesterday, so should be less of a problem than in the very cool conditions of yesterday. But in 4 laps, now onto lap 5, Harvey Claridge is nearly 10 seconds up the road. Callum Wybrow down to 3rd place with Blake Ansell in 2nd. Sean Whittaker, Jamie King, your top 5. Jamie King now recovering a few points. Sam Clowes 6th, 7th Simon Clowes, and Max Cook, here he comes, 8th place with the fastest lap of 48.489, bits between the teeth.
As you say, Max Cook really on the move now with the fastest lap, even quicker than Claridge, but it is all closing up now in that battle for 5th place, and that's going to be crucial when it comes to deciding who will be in the championship.
It's all about the riders packing out the places between Claridge and Jamie King. So Jamie King at the moment is 5th, and that is in class, so he's losing only 14 points. That would mean he still has the championship lead, but it would come down to 6. So Jamie King's got to get a move on, really could do with getting ahead of Sean Whittaker. He's right on Sean Whittaker's case. They're at turn 1, coming out of turn 1, asking for the power through turn 2, and Jamie King looking on the inside at the left-hander, not able to do so. That may have cost him time. Max Cook now trying to get past him, so Jamie King, he's got to attack as well as defend. Max Cook coming alongside him. Jamie Cook jams it down the inside, and Sean Whittaker gets the job done. That's at turn 5, holds the place, and Max Cook follows him through. You get the feeling Max Cook's going to have a look at Jamie King down into turn 7. 7 laps to go. There's plenty enough time to do it. Make that 6 laps to go for your leaders. But Max Cook and Jamie King trying to make their way through. Jamie King looking to try and recover any championship points he can, really. Max Cook's got him though. They're side by side through the final corner, and Max Cook makes a brilliant move through on the inside, the right-hander there that comes onto the straight. Max Cook up to 4th place with the fastest lap of the race as well.
Still causing that fastest lap, really riding very hard, but Harvey Claridge is 11.6 seconds ahead of Blake Ansell. Blake is also cleared off to the tune of 2 seconds ahead of Callum Wybrow, so Callum not under much pressure at the moment. Max Cook, the nearest challenger, isn't going to take too long to really make an attack through turns 5, 6 and 7. They're going to run wide. Max Cook giving it a good move. I suspect he's actually managed to try and snake his way through in this infield section, such as the pace that Max Cook has. The last lap was a 49.0 as opposed to a 50.6, so you can close in the gap they had, which is 1.6 seconds in around a lap. So in no way a big surprise, but Harvey Claridge leads 12.9 ahead of Blake Ansell. Max Cook up to 3rd, 8 tenths clear of Callum Wybrow already, and chasing Blake Ansell.
Max Cook with a new fastest lap of the race as well, 48.397, so the number 30 there, closing down the number 20 now. Blake Ansell, the gap is 2.2 seconds. We will monitor that as they come through this race now. Not long to go, really, 5 laps to go, and you've got it. Oh, Max Cook's already really with Blake Ansell. They've just got a bit of traffic to negotiate their way through. Max Cook's getting his job done through at turn 7. It's very, very tight through there. Just trying to weave your way through the traffic, not looking to to lose any momentum. Harvey Claridge still leading out front, and we can hardly talk about him. He's so far clear. He's in another postcode. Claridge, Ansell, Cook, Callum Wybrow 4th, Jamie King 5th, Whittaker, Sam Clowes is 7th ahead of his dad. Simon Clowes is the top moto team runner in 8th place on the road. Rossi Banham 9th, and Elliot Lodge, welcome return to Elliot Lodge. He's completing the top 10 so far.
As you say about Simon Clowes, the top moto team rider in 8th, he notably has 4 PB bikes between him and his nearest moto team rider in the form of Jason Pugh. That's almost 10 seconds down the road, and it must surely seem like a dominant moto team victory now from Simon.
Jamie King, though, is ahead of Callum Wybrow. That happened over the line, so that is now up to 4th place for Jamie King. Is not losing as many points. This is the critical stage now. Harvey Claridge is well away, but he can't overtake anyone else. He's not going to get any more points. Jamie King is just working his way further and further up and gaining more and more points. So the advantage is going to be lessened for Jamie King, but it isn't going to be as much as potentially it was a few laps ago. 3 laps left to go. On to lap 10 at the moment. Harvey Claridge is leading now, 15 seconds ahead of Max Cook, but Max Cook 6/10 quicker on that last lap. Not going to be enough to close in, one suspects, but stranger things have happened in the Pit Bike 140 Moto Team race. Blake Ansell still 3rd, 3 seconds now ahead of Jamie King.
Max Cook is lapping quicker than Harvey Claridge, but it just isn't at a rate that's good enough. So Harvey Claridge, unless he makes a mistake like he did yesterday, has got this race done and dusted. Jamie King, the problem that Jamie's got is at the moment the gap would come down to just 7 points. That would mean if Harvey Claridge was to win later on, Jamie King would have to be 2nd. He couldn't be 3rd, and if Harvey Claridge was 2nd, Jamie King would have to be no lower than 3rd. So, you know, it swings and roundabouts. Jamie King's got pressure on him this afternoon. It's going to go down to the wire. He's led from the majority of this year as Jamie King. It's all about whether or not he can maintain it later on.
As we go into the final 2 laps, I think all eyes have to be now on the battle for 5th place with Sean Whittaker now holding off Callum Wybrow and Sam Clowes. Both of them really hounding the number 12, who has really wanted this 5th place since the start of the race.
He has indeed. The 12 there of Sean Whittaker, 51.268 for him last time round, 8/10 quicker than Callum Wybrow, so there shouldn't be an issue as far as that is concerned. But no problem for Harvey Claridge. He's come down towards turn 5, through turn 5, short burst up towards turn 6. Harvey Claridge looking like he is going to pinch this championship today if things go his way, which so far they are. Up towards the left-hander, now into the right-hander at turn 9. He's got a bit of traffic to try and get through. He shouldn't have too many issues. Harvey Claridge is going to put a big dent in Jamie King's championship charge as he takes the win. Harvey Claridge has gone through across the line, and a lovely win for him. 2nd place should be Max Cook. He's just coming through the final corner now. Callum Wybrow, Blake Ansell should be in 3rd place. Across the line they come. Now we're just waiting for Blake Ansell as he comes across the line. Yes, he's done it. 4th place should be Jamie King. Jamie King just coming through now. He is 4th, so Jamie King maintains that championship lead, but not by a great deal of points. 5th for Sean Whittaker. Rossi Banham is 6th. 7th place for Sam Clowes. Simon Clowes is your Moto Team champion. We all but knew that anyway, because no one else is in it for the championship running this year. Elliot Lodge 9th, and Bernie Hook completing the top 10.
A great run then from Harvey Claridge. He pitches himself firmly into championship contention, reducing the gap to Jamie King in the Pit Bike 140 class. But the number 16, Harvey Claridge, won by 13.5 seconds ahead of Max Cook. Blake Ansell takes another great podium ahead of Jamie King. Sean Whittaker, Rossi Banham, your top 6. Sam Clowes, Simon Clowes finishing 7th and 8th on the road. Pit Bike 140 and then Moto Team race winner respectively. Elliot Lodge and Bernie Hook round out the top 10. Jason Pugh, Scott Dootson, Fraser Kinnaird, Neil Kinnaird and Alistair Kinnaird all finish line astern in the top 15, with Kevin Grisson, Felix Hearn a further 2 places behind. But now we move to the Junior LC40 Elites here, round 8 of the 2018 Cool FAB-Racing British Mini Bike Championships.
This is Cool FAB-Racing. Live coverage all season on the FAB-Racing Facebook page and on the website FAB-Racing.com.
It is time for race 2 of the weekend for the Junior LC40 Elite class, and on pole for this one, Emmanuel Brinton ahead of Evan Belford. Headed up row 2 is Ryan Hitchcock. He's third ahead of Mason Foster, your AC40 Pro champion, looking for another podium like yesterday. Joe Farragher is fifth ahead of Sullivan Mounsey. Josh Bannister seventh. Johnny Garnis in 8th. Luca Hopkins 9th. Bailey Stewart-Campbell completes the top 10. Bailey Stewart-Campbell out languishing down there in qualifying yesterday. Do not know what's going on down there. James Cook in 11th and Troy Jeffrey in 12th. Only 12 entrants for this. Is one of the shorter entrants we've had in this class this year. But I believe we do actually have Casey O'Gorman.
Do we?
Well, it's definitely his leathers, and he has got a gold helmet on there. So
he was here in practice. He was here for warm-up this morning.
Was he?
So Casey O'Gorman may be making a surprise appearance here, looking to take back his crown.
So we wait then for the race start. Marshals to the sides of the grids. They look towards Lee Clowes with the green flag. It isn't though. When it goes up, it's when it goes down. Hoisted upon the air, then it goes down again. We get underway with the LC40 Elites. They make their way into turn 1 for the first time. It's a tight old run, and with 9 laps left to go, you can't win it at the first corner. You can certainly lose it at the first corner. Emmanuel Brinton trying to hold on in second place at the moment, really fighting for the race lead. Trying to look around Ryder's left-hand side, couldn't make it stick as they make their way into turns 4 and 5 for the first time out of 9. Not quite yet the move being made, but it's all very tight for the race lead, Kiko.
Ryan Hitchcock got a flying start from third on the grid. He's already leading. Second place at the moment, that looks like to me Emmanuel Brinton. Third place, can't quite see who's third, but Sullivan Mounsey's got another good start. Sullivan Mounsey can't half start, up from 6th up to 4th now. Mason Foster is 5th. Casey O'Gorman already 6th. That is the work of a champion there. The man 7 I'm talking about. So as they come across the line, Ryan Hitchcock, Emmanuel Brinton, Johnny Garnis, again, he's another fast start. Come from 8th on the grid, he's already 3rd. 4th, Sullivan Mounsey, Mason Foster 5th. Casey O'Gorman from the back of the grid up to 6th and chasing hard. Mason Foster now looking round the outside and up the inside at turn 3. Can't quite make it work. Mason Foster holds on. We've got a 12-wheeler out front just to complete the grid, or the order, sorry. James Cook is 7th. Josh Bannister is 8th. Bailey Stewart-Campbell 9th. Luca Hopkins is 10th. And Joe Farragher is in 11th. But all action out front. 6 bikes going for a win here.
Indeed, Kiko. Unfortunately, we do appear to have our first stoppage on track, sadly. I can't quite tell who that is. However, they all look okay. Back at the front, though, as you say, 6 riders all pulling away from the rest of the field, and that's going to be intense as we come down to the final corner and onto the run to the first. It's almost 3 wide into the first corner, but I think Ryan Hitchcock has just about kept his position.
He has kept his position. Emmanuel Brinton looking to take back that first place of which he started from. Casey O'Gorman gets a massive moment coming through turn 2. Just about held onto it there. Bike was bucking and weaving from side to side. He lifts up Sullivan Mounsey. That's at turn 4. The tight right-hander. So Casey O'Gorman already into 3rd place. You've got to fancy him as a favourite. With 8 laps to go, he's already made up such a load of ground. Leading is Ryan Hitchcock from Emmanuel Brinton. Is Casey O'Gorman looking round the long way, cuts to the inside. That is a classy move. Oh, and he gets it done as well. It's from turn 7, short burst into turn 8 and 9. Casey O'Gorman has got it done. He's alongside Hitchcock for the lead and takes it. So Casey O'Gorman, it's no wonder he's a champion. Look at him cruising off at the front. That is what he's come here to do. And Casey O'Gorman, well, my goodness me, out front already. fastest lap of the race as well, 49.413.
Well, that last lap, unsurprisingly, the fastest lap of the race, nearly a second quicker than the rest of the riders. 5th on the previous lap, now in the lead of this race. 0.160 at the moment, but it is Ryan Hitchcock second place, defending from Emmanuel Brinton in 3rd, Sullivan Mounsey in 4th. They're all scrapping for that silver medal, as we like to mention it, into turn 7, the second of the tight left-handed hairpins. It's a long old run. You continue turning though through 8 and 9. It's quite difficult to really make a move unless you're absolutely committed like these young riders are. Emmanuel Brinton just about holds on to 3rd place because there's a queue. Sullivan Mounsey's in there. He's not too close, but he's going to try and make a late move up the inside into turn 1. Almost gets to the apex. Can't quite stop it. Can't quite do it. So Sullivan Mounsey stays into 4th place, and Emmanuel Brinton lines up Ryan Hitchcock for a move. Could lose 2 positions. He weaves left to right, cuts just across the nose, carries it out, continues. They're all fine, but Sullivan Mounsey having to eye up Emmanuel Brinton. Goes for the move at turn 4. Couldn't make it work at turn 4. Into turns 5 and 6. Not quite either.
Emmanuel Brinton there in 3rd place, having to attack as well as defend. Ryan Hitchcock's got the easiest job at the moment. He's got to ride his own race. He's basically the leader of the pack, so he's got enough room in front of him. He's not tripping up over anyone. Emmanuel Brinton is, and that's what's giving Sullivan Mounsey the chance. They come to this very, very fast and scary right-hander. Sullivan Mounsey almost on the grass as they came through. Side by side, down in the braking area. Emmanuel Brinton looks like he had a little look at Ryan Hitchcock then. Couldn't quite make it work, so Hitchcock holds on to 2nd place. 3rd place, Emmanuel Brinton. 4th place is Sullivan Mounsey. Brinton again looking between turns 2 and 3, the flip-flop, setting it up in turn 2, looking to execute in turn 3 but not quite being able to do so. That's turn 5 now, and it's all stations as they were. Casey Gorman cruising off though, fastest up of the race, 48.174. The kid is flying off.
I do fear for Emmanuel Brinton though. He is making these lunges in such unusual places, up at turn 3 and, as you say, coming down into the tight chicanes, but he's not making the most of that run into the first corner, and that is where a lot of the riders have really been making the overtakes. Again, as we come down now, again, he looks appear to have the run. I don't know if he's got the speed though to take it through the corner, and he doesn't. Again, I don't think Brinton is making the most of the position that he's in.
He may well just be rehearsing it. Emmanuel Brinton going a long way around. That ain't going to work between turns 2 and 3. Sullivan Mounsey is all over the back of the battling Hitchcock and Brinton scrap. Brinton on the inside this time at turn 5. No, not this time. Thinks better of it. Takes a discretionary route that time around. But Casey Gorman still leading by a country mile.
Well, a country mile more specifically defined as 4.349 seconds. Fantastic return for our champion of 2018 in the Junior LC40 Elite. Ryan Hitchcock just doesn't know where he's gone anymore. Might as well be back at GYG for all he knows. But Emmanuel Brinton really being fighting really hard on Ryan Hitchcock. They're trying to go at the inside. Sullivan Mounsey has a look at the inside. He still can't do it. They're just bringing Johnny Garness into this battle, and to Mason Foster as well. So the battle's getting excruciatingly fantastic, but through finally. Emmanuel Brinton makes a move. He couldn't quite make it stick. He tries again though onto the inside at turn number 5. The first of the hairpins. He does make it through this time. He does stay ahead. So into 2nd place goes Emmanuel Brinton, and now maybe furious, sees the red mist in front of him. Ryan Hitchcock has got to get the position back, but he might well lose out on Sullivan Mounsey as well.
Hitchcock's got the position back, but he went wide. That was at turn 8 and 9. Now then, we're coming down towards this fast, scary final corner. Right-hander flat out through there. Hitchcock's leading. Second in the group is Brinton, side by side. To me, is Sullivan Mounsey trying to get through, but still can't. It's his Casey Gorman leading. The battle for second now is all about Ryan Hitchcock. He has got to defend from Brinton. Brinton looking at that move at turn 3 again, trying to push his way through. He tried it last time, couldn't make it work. Side by side down into turn 5 and a hairpin. What a battle we've got with 2 laps to go.
I tell you what though, Brinton will certainly be enthralled about that overtake. Although he couldn't make it stick, that's certainly going to give him the confidence in these last 2 laps. And I tell you who else is being brought into this right at the back. Mason Foster. Dan mentioned it just a minute ago, but I really can see him making real headways on the front 4, as it's 5 now. 5 bikes all in line for 2nd place.
What a move. So sorry to cut across you there. Sullivan Mounsey just got ahead of Emmanuel Brinton at the final corner, and he's going to go ahead of Ryan Hitchcock down at turn 1 as well.
He's done it.
Sullivan Mounsey, 2 passes in 2 corners. So I take my hat off to him. Oh, Johnny Garnis has retired. He is not happy with that. Johnny Garnis is out.
A small mistake into the first turn there, and I think he just ran off into the barrier, but he all looks okay.
I think the bike's broken down. He's put the bike down. It's a technical issue. We're going to take you over the line with Casey O'Gorman in just a second. He's going to win this race. He's got enough of a lead. He's coming out of turn 9. He's got one more corner to go. The fast right-hander onto the straight. That is going to be his final corner. Casey O'Gorman comes up with the goods as a surprise with that special gold helmet, which I think is very, very nice indeed. Coming to the line, it looks like it is going to be Sullivan Mounsey. After all that battling and fair bashing, it is Sullivan Mounsey who takes second. Third place for Ryan Hitchcock. Fourth place for Emmanuel Brinton, who is in the end forced off the podium. Fifth place goes to Mason Foster. 6th is going to be Josh Bannister. 7th should be Bailey Stewart Campbell as Johnny Garnis drops down the order. Then it should be Luca Hopkins, Joe Farragher and James Cook. But what about that? What a great race that was. Enthralling action in that battle for second. But Casey O'Gorman, once more, the man to beat.
We didn't think we'd be saying his name again this season, but Casey O'Gorman, the number 7 rider, wins in the Junior LC40 Elites. It's more specifically 8.8 seconds ahead of Sullivan Mounsey. What a fantastic gap that was. But a great battle between the 44, the 43 of Ryan Hitchcock and the 93 of Emmanuel Brinton. They really could not help but scrap all throughout that race. Every single corner they were trying to make moves on each other. But in the end, Sullivan Mounsey very wily took second place ahead of Ryan Hitchcock. Emmanuel Brinton tried for so hard, but in the end just off the podium. Mason Foster not too far behind either, with Josh Bannister 6th ahead of Bailey Stewart Campbell, Luca Hopkins, Joe Farragher and Johnny Garnis. With that technical issue we suspect, James Cook finishing in 11th place. And that's the second last race of the weekend for the Junior LC40 Elites. They will be back out later on this afternoon. Up next here though, round 8 of the 2018 Cool Fab Racing British Mini Bike Championships. We have got the Senior Mini Motos. They will be out in just a few moments' time.
The official partner series to the BSB. This is Cool Fab Racing.
Coming up next, the second outing for the Senior Mini Motos. Now, these guys are always bashing into each other. The Ryan Grant fan club, I hear, is out in full force. He can... Well, he's got a job on his hands, but he can actually win the championship today if all things go his way. So Ryan Grant looking to take advantage, I think, of that pole position. Josh Birkin is alongside him on that front row. So Ryan Grant on pole position, Josh Birkin in second place. Richard Holmes-Williams, he is your championship leader. Now, Richard Holmes-Williams can win the championship in this race. If I get my championship permutations to hand, he can actually win it if he scores more points than Ryan Grant and finishes just ahead of him, and it's that simple. Chris Yeomans is alongside him in 4th place. Simon Huntingford is in 5th, alongside Nick Bennett in 6th. Bernie Hook 7th, and Matt Birkin completes in the grid in 8th place. Now, Josh Birkin led down into turn 1 yesterday and led for the majority of the race, but who's it going to be today? We just haven't got a clue.
Well, we will find out in just a moment. 9 laps in prospect for the second Senior Mini Moto race of the weekend. And you're listening to live coverage of round 8 of the 2018 Cool Fab Racing British Mini Bike Championship. Live on the Cool Fab Racing website, on motorsport.radio and on social media. Thank you very much for joining us through our extended red flag period. We are back underway in racing. And we thank you also for all of your great comments. We will read out a few of them in a few moments' time. But first, the Senior Mini Motos, race 2. They look towards the green flag. This is how the race will get underway. The revs build, it holds up, it goes down. Richard Holmes-Williams with a phenomenal start to try and go into second place, maybe even challenge for the race lead going into turn 1 for the first time. We've got a faller down at turn 1, we've got 2 fallers at turn 1, they're both back up and getting up. We suspect that was Ryan Grant, but as they make their way through and up towards turns 3 and 4 for the first time, it's actually going into the lead. Ryan Grant leads there just ahead of Richard Holmes-Williams. Matt Birkin in there as well, trying to challenge, but getting under a bit of pressure now.
Everyone through the middle part of this circuit safety. Ryan Grant leading Richard Holmes-Williams. That is the battle for the championship. As it stands, that is just enough for Richard Holmes-Williams to be crowned champion in this race. He doesn't need to beat Ryan Grant, he just needs to not lose 14 points or more to him in this race. So a top 4 finish, or top 5 finish really, regardless, top 4 mathematically will do it for Richard Holmes-Williams. We're side by side down at turn 1, moves looking to be made, and up the inside of Richard Holmes-Williams. Who is that up the inside? Was that Matt Birkin maybe? We are just waiting on the timing screens to update themselves as we come through. I'm looking down my championship standings to see who that is. I can't see who that is, but out front it is Ryan Grant.
So continues the fan club, very happy with that one at the moment. Good start, but they've still got 8 more laps of this race to go, so quite a while until we can really find who's going to really win this race. Some fantastic scrapping going on further down the field, side by side action going into turns 6 and 7. Really no holds barred racing, but as they continue along with this race, Ryan Grant is the race leader. Richard Holmes-Williams just about second place. In fact, it is all changing. It's really starting to be closed up. Bernie Hook, great few laps in this one, and is not just in second place, he's challenging Ryan Grant. 0.269 was the gap over the line that last time. It's not that now. They're side by side almost coming into turn 3. Bernie Hook on Ryder's right hand side tried to go up the inside at turn 3, couldn't make it stick, but Ryan Grant grabs a bit of understeer through turns 4 and into 5. The infield section could be where Bernie Hook takes this race victory in terms of the race lead.
As you say, with Bernie Hook, he had such a poor qualifying, and it did start right at the back of the grid on the final row, but he's made his way up in this race, and it's been an exceptional run. In that last lap, he gained 0.8 of a second on race leader Ryan Grant, and that's despite having to overtake Richard Holmes-Williams.
He's lining up Ryan Grant as they come onto the straight now then, so Ryan Grant under pressure from Bernie Hook. What way will he go? To the outside or to the inside? He'll stay line astern. No move made that time, so Ryan Grant holds on from Bernie Hook. Ryan Grant leads Bernie Hook. Third place is Richard Holmes-Williams, who was actually very, very slow on that lap there. Matt Birkin is catching him, as is Martin Glossop. Now, if those two get past him, then, well, we may well have a championship deciding race later on today, but of course we'll get to that when we do. Matt Birkin is right on the back of Richard Holmes-Williams, and Bernie Hook is challenging Ryan Grant for the lead. So they come through turn 7, it hooks back round towards the hook at the top of the circuit. That's turn 8 and 9. Bernie Hook's gone for the inside. He's gone past him. No, he hasn't. Ryan Grant has fought back, so over and under doesn't quite work. To the far right hand corner, onto the straight. Then Ryan Grant is leading still from Bernie Hook, and that is how it stays at the moment. Matt Birkin has got ahead of Richard Holmes-Williams, so whatever the issue with Richard Holmes-Williams' bike is, it is a big one at the moment. He's still in there for the championship in this round. Bernie Hook looking on the inside at turn number 3. That's a hard move to do, and Bernie Hook not quite able to do so.
Cost a couple of machine lengths going into turn number 3. You can make a committed move. It's then countering the understeer that follows, but he gets a fantastic ride out of turn number 5 using the right hand side of the circuit to good avail. Couldn't quite make the move through, but it's every single corner you're trying to make a move. You're probably going to notice, if you're Ryan Grant, that he's trying to overtake you, which sounds slightly facetious, but as they go through corners, he just knows how to place the bike. He knows how to defend, and Ryan Grant leads this race from Bernie Hook. Matt Birkin still got the great pace from yesterday and is starting maybe just to close into the race lead. He is a 50.7 as opposed to a 51.8, so he is closing in to the race lead battle. And in all of this, Ryan Grant holding on. Bernie Hook again through turns 2 and 3. They're side by side again into turn 3. Can't make the move, cannot make it stick.
Richard Holmes-Williams has fallen back yet another position now to Martin Glossop, and honestly, this is really going to throw the championship up in the air. With Ryan Grant up front, knowing he has to hold off Bernie Hook, is really going to incentivise the number 16 to keep that position, knowing that his championship rival is struggling.
At the moment, Ryan Grant would take this championship race to race 3 because 14 points is the difference. The gap would be 24, meaning that, you know, Ryan Grant, if he wins and Richard Holmes Williams would be having a catastrophe later on, the championship would be thrown back to Ryan Grant. So Ryan Grant doing what he needs to do. Richard Holmes Williams, though, not doing what he needs to, but he is still lapping quicker than Nick Bennett in 6th place. So out front, though, Bernie Hook still chasing down Ryan Grant. Matt Birkin is closing the pair of them down. In fact, Martin Glossop is closing all of them down. Martin Glossop was quicker than anyone else on circuit last time around.
I mean, the good news for Holmes Williams is that there is a 12-second gap back to Nick Bennett in 6th place. So I think even unless he has some sort of disastrous problem, I do believe Holmes Williams does have 5th place wrapped up. So the championship lead really would be a case of him retiring in the final race. But it really is a case now of that fight for the lead, with Grant now being pressured all over by Bernie Hook as we go into the first corner.
Absolutely right, he is absolutely being pressured at the moment, but it's a battle that's going to come from 2 to 3 at the moment, because you've got Ryan Grant leading Bernie Hook and Matt Birkin again. What was his lap time? Yes, much quicker last time around as well for Martin Glossop. So I'm not sure if Martin Glossop's going to get there. 2.4 seconds. He's not catching him quick enough at the moment. But if these guys start battling and banging into each other's bikes, then we may well have an issue. We've got someone pulled off somewhere on the circuit on the infield. He's been there for about 4 laps. He's just got back on his bike. So don't think that's going to go anywhere. That's Elliot Lodge, I think, at the back. So either way, out front we got Ryan Grant. 2nd place now is Bernie Hook. Bernie Hook with the fastest lap of this race. Matt Birkin is 3rd.
And Matt Birkin is well and truly involved in this battle now. They're starting to close in. It isn't going to take too long until the next few moments where the move made. It was 4 tenths coming line, and it's closing in again. Ryan Grant is the leader. 2nd place, Bernie Hook attacking like everything else. And as they make their way further round into turns 5 now.
I mean, the thing is, 3rd place over Matt Birkin, he is falling back now to the front 2, and that is not doing him well. He has just managed to pull up a little in the infield section, but Birkin does appear to not be able to keep up with him throughout the straights.
Martin Glossop, fastest lap of the race last time round. Now the gap is just 1.7. Ryan Grant under immense pressure now. Bernie Hook looking every which way around him. He's going to get the slipstream. He's going to go alongside him, neck and neck down in the braking area. Who's better on the brakes? Ryan Grant. Does he keep it? Yes, he does. So Ryan Grant just holding on then from Bernie Hook. Then
Not
it's
for
Matt
long.
Birkin. Bernie Hook has slid through on the inside. Now then, that has thrown the championship dynamic in a different way. No, it hasn't, because Ryan Grant is going back on the hook. That is round turns 3 and 4. Unusual place to pass, but Ryan Grant is determined to take this championship down to the final race of the day here for these senior mini motos. Ryan Grant leads. Bernie Hook 2nd. We're on the last lap as well. So Ryan Grant, is he going to hold on here? We've not got long left. 4 of them in a battle for a race win. Ryan Grant, if he's turning on the coals right now, they're coming to the final corner. Ryan Grant is going to hold on. Ryan Grant takes the championship down to the last round. He is going to have a huge chance later on. What a race. One of the best races we've seen in the senior mini-motos all year. Ryan Grant, Bernie Hook, Matt Birkin and Martin Glossop separated by just a second. Limping home, Richard Holmes Williams is 5th, and that is not good enough to take the championship in that race. 6th, we are expecting Chris Yeomans across the line. 7th will be Nick Bennett, and Simon Huntingford will complete the order. No Josh Birkin and no Elliot Lodge. So 8 finishers from 10. Race 2 of the senior mini motos. What a thriller.
Well, 4 in the battle for the race lead right at the very end of that race, and the 2nd senior mini moto race of the weekend has certainly been a thriller. We will have one more race for them this season. That will be at around 5 minutes past 3 this afternoon. We are running a little bit delayed due to an extended red flag period, but thank you very much for joining us on the Cool FAB-Racing website, on motorsport.radio and on social media. This is live coverage of round 8 of the 2018 Cool FAB-Racing British Mini Bike Championships. Out onto circuit next, it is the AC40 Rookies. Thank you very much for leaving all of your comments on social media. We will get around to reading a few of those in just a few moments' time. But the grid then for the next race, which is the AC40 Rookies, and it will be Samuel Munson who is on pole position once again, with Ruben Bray lining up on the front row of the grid. Finn and Werity and Charlie Huntingford are on row 2, with Warwick Brady, Ollie Horner, Ollie Sims, William Harris, Archie Gibbs and Henry McCartney, an uncharacteristic 10th. Then we have got Blake Wilson ahead of Max Werity, Harry Payne, Elliot Jones, Luke Fitchett, Joshua Williams and Luke Schofield. That is how your 17-strong order will line up. And the riders just making their way out of the paddock, up to the grid, and all of the marshals just making sure everyone is in the prime position. Connor Jackson, website editor for Motorsport Radio. This is a very nerve-wracking time. Have you got any very quick words of wisdom for our young riders?
Well, as you say, it looks like it's going to be a very close affair. The conditions obviously being a lot different than yesterday. Obviously, I would not put anything past Samuel Munson. Pole position yesterday and really made the most of his opportunity in race 1. Further back, there are some notable names that we have seen perform in other categories this year, but it really is going to be a case of tying it up at the front.
Well, Samuel Munson, the flame of pole position. Will it be another victory to add to his collection for 2018? We will find out in 8 laps time. The marshals just making sure everyone is in the correct position, and they're all very nervously waiting for the green flag. Marshals then moving to the sides of the grid. We will get the race start then, race 2 of the AC40 Rookies. This is the second last race of the season, and as they make their way looking towards the start line marshal, the green flag will go up in just a moment's time. The revs build, the impatience builds. There's a loader creeping from Samuel Munson and from Ruben Brown, the front row of the grid, into turn 1 for the first time out of 8 though. And they seem to be all getting through cleanly then, so a good start by everyone into turns 2 and 3. Much different conditions compared to yesterday's action. Samuel Munson up there with Warwick Brady and Ruben Bray. They're both fighting extremely hard coming into turns 4 and 5 for the first time, and everyone has made it through cleanly. That is the best news we can have.
The top 2 really are pulling away in this first opening lap, and I'm impressed at the speed Ruben Bray and Munson both appear to have. Bray, of course, will be determined to take it to the number 72 as he looks for maybe another race victory.
Well, looking for another race victory, heading over the line, could well be set for that as we take to the line for the first time out of 8. Your race leaders then, it is Samuel Munson in the lead, Ruben Bray in second, 4 tenths ahead. Then 2.2 seconds behind is Ollie Horner, who's got Charlie Huntingford for company, Warwick Brady, Finn and Werity, Henry McCartney and William Harris all lining up as we've got Safona down at turn number 1. Yellow flags are up, riders walking is about to get onto the bike, so they carry on, but that eliminates one from that battle. But the race leaders is Munson and Bray, followed by Ollie Horner.
Munson and Bray leading, Ollie Horner there in third, having a lonely race in third I must say, but nonetheless it's still a podium. Charlie Huntingford, he was on the podium yesterday, what a fantastic podium it was for him as well, in fourth. Warwick Brady 5th, Finn and Werity in 6th, Henry McCartney 7th, William Harris 8th, Ollie Sims 9th and Archie Gibbs in 10th place. But out front, Samuel Munson under pressure now from Ruben Bray. Ruben Bray building and building all the way through this right-hander onto the straight. He pulls out. They are side by side down the straight. Ruben Bray on the brakes. Is he going to outbrake Munson? Not this time. Samuel Munson, of course, the champion of this class this year. Wrapped it up yesterday.
Bray, of course, will be determined to take that position, but of course, though, I think they've got to be aware of the encroaching Ollie Horner, who is managing to match them mostly on lap times. Horner, of course, started 6th on the grid. Qualifying perhaps wasn't what he wanted, but that amazing opening lap from the number 70 has ensured that he is currently running 3rd.
Third is very, very good indeed. And as far as championship permutations go, well, Ollie Horner, the title has already been won by Samuel Munson.
I believe there is a place change for 3rd.
For 3rd place, we're looking out there. Ollie Horner should be 3rd. Where is he now?
is that we will see in just a moment. Samuel Munson, though, as you say, Kiko Giles is the champion, is leading this race. 3/10 now ahead of Ruben Bray. Ruben Bray following into turn 1. Not close enough to make a move as we're on lap 3. 6 laps left to go. Ollie Horner in 3rd ahead of Charlie Huntingford. Henry McCartney moving up to 5th, just ahead of Finn and Werity and William Harris.
With Ruben Bray 2nd at the moment and Ollie Horner 3rd, it would take the battle for the runner-up position in this championship down to race 3 later on. Of course, the championship already sewn up. Henry McCartney down in 5th place. That is not where he needs to be. He's on 338 points at the moment. It's a difficult task to see him take that 2nd place in the championship, but he is still in with a shout at the moment.
Well, for the time being at the very least, Samuel Munson with the fastest lap, 54.045. 0.366 now ahead of Ruben Bray. Over the line again, the gap extends to 0.7 of a second, nearly 8. Ollie Horner extremely lonely, as we keep saying, in 3rd place at the moment. Charlie Huntingford is a fair way back, 3.4 seconds behind. Henry McCartney, though, has lost out on 5th place. Finn and Werity returns to 5th place. Henry McCartney just 0.3 behind in 6th. William Harris a few seconds adrift as well. Then you've got Ollie Sims, Archie Gibbs and Blake Wilson, the top 10. We've got 5 laps left to go. We've got Max Werity in 11th ahead of Elliot Jones, just ahead of Elliot Jones, with Harry Payne and Luke Fitchett 13th and 14th. Joshua Williams, the last of our point scorers.
Samuel Munson, though, you're still your race leader, 53.982. What a great lap that is. The only rider in the 53-second bracket as it stands at the moment. So Samuel Munson wrapped the title up yesterday, as we've said already. He's looking to enforce that right back home here today at the moment, although Samuel Munson was not as fast as Ruben Bray last time round. So Ruben Bray was about 0.3 quicker, to gap back down to half a second. So race on with 4 to go.
It is notable further back with Luke Schofield having had a poor start to the race. He's doing a very good job, actually, of keeping out of the way of the battle for 5th. As you say, Finn and Werity is continuing to hold that position in front of the charging Henry McCarthy.
Just want to draw everyone's attention to 14th place, Luke Fitchett. Luke Fitchett, of course, helped, and I don't know about mentored, but he's definitely helped a little bit by Martin Wimmer. Was invited by the Fitchett family to go over to the Wilton Mill circuit, and the last round we were at, and Martin Wimmer joined us for a little while in the commentary box, and that's who he came to see that day. So ex-Grand Prix stars, all eyes on this championship.
And well, now 3 laps to go. Samuel Munson, the gap closing in a little bit through the first 2 corners, and Munson is just 0.6 ahead now. It's not too much, but isn't too little either. It's just enough to have a really comfortable gap. Ollie Horner remains in 3rd. Huntingford and Werity are top 5. Henry McCartney 0.6 behind. Battle for the race lead, though. Connor Jackson is starting to close in again.
It is starting to close in. That was thanks to a few back markers, but other than one just ahead of them, I believe they are actually free for what should be the last 3 laps. And so it could actually be all the way down to whether Ruben Bray can get the run on Munson in these few laps. It might come down to tyre life. It might just come down to Bray's determination.
Well, determination is a great word that we like to see in the Cool Fab Racing British Mini Bike Championships. Archie Gibbs also determined to get past Ollie Sims. That's the battle for 8th place raging on so far. Elliot Jones likewise trying to get past Max Werity. But now 2 laps to go. 0.2 of a second between Munson and Bray. The race lead really starting to become under a challenge. They're side by side going into turn number 1. Was the move made going into there, Kiko?
Just looking, I think Ruben Bray may have got that from Samuel Munson. We will see shortly, though. I was looking at Ollie Horner. He had his hands full with, I think it was Charlie Huntingford. So back markers in the way and all sorts as well. So all action down this field.
Lots of action still to go, a lap and a half, and it is Samuel Munson versus Ruben Bray, the big battle in this at the moment. The last lap flag is being prepared for our 2 race leaders. They're making their way up to the line again to start the final lap. It's half a second now as they make their way down the long straight into turn 1. They can't quite close upon the brakes, but Ruben Bray giving it absolutely everything, desperate for that race victory. But into turns 2 and 3, a long left, a long right, very quick runs. They can't maintain they are maintaining their position so far.
I think Samuel Munson's done enough here. He's got a little bit of traffic to get through, and that might help Ruben Brady. He's coming up to it now. They're at turn 6, the horseshoe coming back down towards turn 7, one of the 3 hairpins. Samuel Munson is being hurt here. He's really not been helped at all by the traffic. He can't get through. Ruben Bray may well have a chance here, although the traffic moves out the way now. I think Samuel Munson's done just enough. They're coming down to the line for the final time. Samuel Munson takes another win this year, stands up, takes the plaudits. Second place goes to Ruben Bray. Ollie Horner will be third, and that makes the battle for the championship all one to watch as well. So Ollie Horner in third place. Fourth place we are expecting Charlie Huntingford. Yet again another superb result from Charlie Huntingford. He's going to be one to watch in 2019. Finn and Werrity completes the top 5. Henry McCartney there in 6th place now, doesn't have a chance to win, to take the 2nd place in the championship. 7th for William Harris. Ollie Sims is 8th. Blake Wilson should be 9th ahead of Archie Gibbs. Yes, that is right. Elliot Jones will be next up in 11th. But Samuel Munson wins again. He is flying.
Well, a fantastic victory again from Samuel Munson, the number 72 rider, against the number 1. That is no surprise here at Cool Fab. And well, up next we have got the Mini GP50s, but first it will be Samuel Munson ahead of Ruben Bray and Ollie Horner. That's your podium for the AC40 rookies. Charlie Huntingford ahead of Finn and Werrity. Henry McCartney, William Harris, Ollie Sims, Blake Wilson and Archie Gibbs round out the top 10. Max Werrity, Elliot Jones, Harry Payne, Luke Fitchett, Joshua Williams, Warwick Brady and Luke Schofield. That is your top 17 order here. Round 8 of the 2018 Cool Fab Racing British Mini Bike Championships. And as we move on then in just a few moments time to the Mini GP50s, they head out onto circuit and the grid will line up something like this. It is Ryan Hitchcock on pole position ahead of Eddie O'Shea, Harrison Crosby and Mason Johnson on the second row of the grid. We've then got Dylan Mellor and Emmanuel Brinton on row 3 ahead of Lucas Brown, Ollie Walker, Kyle Payne and Alfie Davidson. Then it's Alessandro Valente, Harrison McKay, followed by James Cook, Josh Bannister, Taylor Stewart Campbell, Thomas Gomez, Cameron Sewell and Ben Jolly. That is how the order will be. The 18 strong riders as they make their way now up to the grid then. Connor Jackson, how do you think this one is going to pan out?
Well, as you say, I think it is going to be another close affair. Ryan Hitchcock, of course, will be determined to take the victory from pole position, but it's interesting to see some of the big names we've had behind. Ollie Walker, of course, has been a big star this year, and Harrison Crosby has had a fairly good meeting so far, but it's always struggled to come, I believe, in the first Saturday, where we didn't quite see him on the pace on the podium, and so this might be a golden opportunity to see him really competing at the front with the likes of Eddie O'Shea and Ryan Hitchcock.
Don't forget we've got Dylan Mellor as well and Mason Johnson. Loads of riders in this one that could do the business. Kyle Payne, he'll be wanting to come through from 9th place, as will Alfie Davidson. Actually had a very good run out yesterday, did Alfie Davidson, so lots to talk about. The grid is just forming. It's going to be completed any moment now, and the race will not be far from starting.
12 laps then in prospect. Mini GP50s race 2. You're listening to live coverage of round 8 of the 2018 Cool Fab Racing British Mini Bike Championships, live from Tattershall in Lincolnshire, the final round of 2018. Thank you for joining us in the audio stream and on the visual radio streams. Plenty of action still to come today, but first, the Mini GP50s get underway. It's a poor start from the front row of the grid by Eddie O'Shea. Ryan Hitchcock launches into the lead, going into turn 1 for the first time. Mason Johnson up into second place, so a great start then from Mason. Eddie O'Shea didn't react very quickly on this. All hands on deck for 4th place at the moment. Emmanuel Brinton trying to filter through, trying to go around the outside of 1 or 2 riders into turns 3 and 4. Right, and then the left-handed hairpin, really late braking, but the number 69, that is Harrison Crosby, Crosby in 4th place. 5th place, in fact, in the moment. 4th place, it's James Cook trying to get involved, and Dylan Mellor also very strong.
Dylan Mellor there in 4th place. Good stuff from him. We got someone going very, very slow at the back of the field. Not sure who that is at the moment.
But as we continue on then, this is the first lap out of 12. They're about to come over the line for the first time as well. Ryan Hitchcock, 0.180 ahead of Mason Johnson, but Mason Johnson lunging up the inside. Eddie O'Shea having to both attack and defend on Mason Johnson and Dylan Mellor respectively. Harrison Crosby ahead of Ollie Walker. Emmanuel Brinton 7th is Lucas Brown in 8th. Kyle Payne, Josh Bannister, that's the top 10. They're all quite close at the moment, and Emmanuel Brinton right on the coattails of the rider just ahead. That is Harrison Crosby in 5th place. So past Ollie Walker already, now trying to get past the number 69 rider.
I do fear for Crosby. He does appear to be going backwards from his 3rd place grid spot, and I think he's already behind Ollie Walker, who has overtaken him into the first corner. So this is a disastrous start to the race for Crosby.
Well, not good, but still plenty of time for everything to change, and it all does in the cool FAB-Racing paddocks. Eddie O'Shea up the inside going into turn number 1. Can he get onto the brakes quick enough? Not quite. For Mason Johnson out brakes, and it's still now Ollie Walker with the fastest lap, 49.5 compared to the 49.6 and 49.7 the front runners are doing, so also reeling them in.
Ollie Walker's got a lot of clear track though, that's the thing. He can go his own pace. He's not tripping up over anyone. He's not playing a strategic game, not working out a game plan, anything like that. He's got his own time, he's got his own track ahead and behind of him. He's not really in a group either. He's got a lot of time to build into. Eddie O'Shea looking for the move up into 2nd place, nearly took Mason Johnson. There was almost contact there, but at the moment Ryan Hitchcock leads that group of 4 through this final corner, flat out through here, right out to the edge of the circuit. Mason Johnson gets a great drive. He's going to go alongside. Mason Johnson looking to try and park it down the inside at turn 1.
And he's through, he's gone through. He
Brilliant
just
move.
lets off the brakes. A brilliant move there from Mason Johnson, and he's almost going to lose Eddie O'Shea in 3rd place, trying to catch up. They're very, very close already into turn 3 and 4.
Mason Johnson pushed out Ryan Hitchcock there. Hitchcock looking on the inside, got that all a bit squirrely. And round the outside goes Dylan Mellor. That's a brilliant move and makes it work as well. So Eddie O'Shea, his eyes will be on springs. He won't know where to look because Dylan Mellor has just got him round the outside. Fantastic stuff from Dylan Mellor. Now he's looking into 2nd place. They're going to touch in a minute with him and Ryan Hitchcock. All of this has given Mason Johnson the room that he needs. So the number 808 bike, the green bike, now leads this way by quite a margin, I must say. Dylan Mellor's going alongside Ryan Hitchcock. Is he going to get it done on the brakes? Yes, no he didn't. That was my fault, premature there. Ryan Hitchcock holding on to 2nd place, but Mason Johnson streaking away as that battle rages behind him.
Indeed, and it's the battles further behind that are still going on. The battle for 7th is currently seeing Lucas Brown hold up a queue of 5 riders. I don't think he's intentionally holding up. All of them appear to be about the same pace, but my golly, it's just as exciting as the 4-rider battle up front. There's a 5-rider battle in the midfield.
Well, battles all around the track here at Tattershall. Mason Johnson, though, doesn't want a battle. He's 8/10 clear in the race lead from Ryan Hitchcock. Dylan Mellor still in that 3rd place, but they're through and over the start-finish line once again. Has the order changed? Not quite, but Ryan Hitchcock closing in into turn number 1. Dylan Mellor again goes for the inside. Dylan Mellor again can't make the position. He's not quite close enough. Eddie O'Shea 4th, Walker in 5th. Emmanuel Brinton with the fastest lap in 6th and challenging Ollie Walker for 5th place now as well.
Mason Johnson leading this race very, very well, but he's being caught again. Ryan Hitchcock looking for a late move up the inside at turn 5. Can't make it work there. 3rd place is Dylan Mellor. 4th place is Eddie O'Shea. Emmanuel Brinton is now 5th and closing in, and Ollie Walker's still not out of this. So we're going to have a battle of 6 riders. Can you believe it? 6 riders in the running for this race win very, very soon. What an incredible championship this is. What an incredible audience it's reached. It's reached millions of fans this year, an international audience, a growing fan base. It is the grassroots of British motorsport. How proud we are to cover it live and exclusive.
I tell you who's setting the fastest laps though. 5th place Emmanuel Brinton, having got free of that battle in the midfield. He has charged after the leads, and as you say, he is only a few seconds behind the actual race lead and now approaching the lead battle.
He's right on the back of them. Emmanuel Brinton is right on the back of Eddie O'Shea. It is a group of 5 now. It wasn't 4+1 anymore. It is now 5. It is a definite 10-wheeler, and Mason Johnson's got to defend for his life. I can't believe we've only got 7 laps to go. This race has gone so fast.
Well, place is aplenty here. It's still Mason Johnson leading into the final 2 corners. Ryan Hitchcock, though, closing and closing and closing and closing into and over the start-finish line now. It's 0.3 for Mason Johnson ahead of Ryan Hitchcock. Dylan Mellor having to defend. Eddie O'Shea. Emmanuel Brinton has a look up the inside of Eddie O'Shea for 5th and 4th place. Stays into that 5th place for the time being. Eddie O'Shea's body language on the bike, though, really hustling the thing about he's desperate to get closer to the podium positions. And a very late move trying to be made by Ryan Hitchcock into turn number 4. Couldn't make it work, but squirming all over the ground, he means business.
The problem is now they're all tripping up over each other, and it takes one of them to make one dodgy move, and it's going to affect every single one of them, and that will bring Ollie Walker right back into play as well. So they've got to play their cards right. They've got to be race smart here. 6 to go, soon to be 5 to go. Emmanuel Brinton with the fastest lap of the race as well. That was on lap 5. So we have got across the line Mason Johnson leading Ryan Hitchcock, Dylan Mellor, Eddie O'Shea, Emmanuel Brinton and Ollie Walker. The leading 5 covered by 9/10 of a second. It doesn't get any closer than this. Mason Johnson still leading, Ryan Hitchcock. Everyone's just settled down now. They've all got a little bit more room. It's all going to concertina up, though, when they get to turn 5. That's the next corner. Ryan Hitchcock looking on the inside and gets it done. Parks it, lifts up Mason Johnson. Ryan Hitchcock makes a move. Eddie O'Shea nearly hits the back of Dylan Mellor. Has to avoid him and goes through. That's what we mean. One move can affect the whole pack. It's almost like a chain reaction.
As you say, Mellor was just caught out by Johnson's move up the inside, and I think got a small bit of contact with the bike in front, and as a result that lost him the momentum to O'Shea, who took the position. O'Shea, of course, will be loving that, having only gone backwards in the last couple of laps, and he's really back on the momentum now.
Another dynamic. We've got traffic to try and negotiate. They're at it now. The traffic moves out of Ryan Hitchcock's way and Mason Johnson's. Eddie O'Shea gets around it, as does Emmanuel Brinton. Oh, Ryan Hitchcock has a big moment in the middle of turn 2. Runs it a bit wide. Somehow keeps it on the island. Mason Johnson will be looking to try and get back at Ryan Hitchcock. Hitchcock takes a defensive line into that left-hander at turn 5. Not what you really need to be doing at this still relatively early stage in the race with 4 laps to go. It's going to kick off surely in a minute. Couple of laps left to go. After the next one around, that is when we will see everyone's true colours and what they've got left to give.
And Ollie Walker's still in this, of course.
Ollie Walker's closed right back up. We've got traffic everywhere. It's absolute, just such a horrible feeling trying to weave your way through the traffic. Mason Johnson is back in the lead of this. Eddie O'Shea is 2nd. 3rd is Emmanuel Brinton. 4th is Dylan Mellor. Ollie Walker's 5th. And 6th now is Ryan Hitchcock. That's what the traffic can do. 3 to go.
One mistake can cost you a serious position, and Mason Johnson leads ahead of Eddie O'Shea. Emmanuel Brinton onto the podium. He doesn't want 3rd place, though. He wants 2nd place. Looking up the inside into turn number 5. Couldn't stop it at the apex. Eddie O'Shea had more grip, but late move up the inside. Mason Johnson having to work around the traffic is really causing trouble for the race leaders. Dylan Mellor just got caught out and has broken that gap a little bit. Mason Johnson in the meantime still defending from Eddie O'Shea. Bit between his teeth. The red mist in front and the 2 green bikes are 1 and 2.
Cameron Sewell has pulled off. The number 100 has collided with someone and he's pulled off on the infield. Mason Johnson is under attack. That's from Eddie O'Shea, I'm sure. Eddie O'Shea, does he get the move done? Yes, he does. Eddie O'Shea now in the lead. We're on the last lap. We're on the penultimate lap. I'm early again. So Eddie O'Shea leading this race. Has he gone a lap too soon like I just did? I don't know. But Mason Johnson, you've got to think, will just have something up his sleeve. We're at that infield section. Emmanuel Brinton there in 3rd place. 4th place, Dylan Mellor. 5th place, Ollie Walker. 6th place, Ryan Hitchcock. Hitchcock's just a bit detached now from that lead in 5, so I don't think Hitchcock's going to be able to do anything. But when looking back, though, at Mason Johnson getting his way through the traffic, that is exactly what you need to do. You have to be ruthless. You cannot play the waiting game with traffic.
And this is what I was talking about a few laps ago, with O'Shea coming back in momentum now as they go into the first corner. Johnson is just under threat now from Brinton, who appears to be all over the back of him.
We're on the last lap then. This is it. Through turn 2, flicking into turn 3, looking for a move. Mason Johnson was never going to make it stick there. Eddie O'Shea's got the advantage of coming up on Taylor Stewart Campbell. Eddie O'Shea, will he be able to hold on for yet another win? Traffic everywhere, he's gone the long way around. Taylor Stewart Campbell, his eyes are going to be on springs, he'll get the shock of his life. Emmanuel Brinton gets through as well, and I think that has just broke the group up enough. Taylor Stewart Campbell collides with Dylan Mellor. That's done Dylan Mellor's hopes of a podium. Now then, focusing back on your leaders. Eddie O'Shea, I think, has done enough. He has played it to perfection. Eddie O'Shea takes a glorious win in the sunshine at Tattershall, ahead of Mason Johnson and Emmanuel Brinton. Traffic decided that one. Fourth place goes in the end to Ollie Walker. Dylan Mellor's thwarted efforts can only get him to fifth, and Ryan Hitchcock there in sixth place. What a race that was. Probably the best of the year in the Mini GP 50s.
Well, what a fantastic race that was, but Eddie O'Shea takes a great win, just 4/10 of a second ahead of Mason Johnson. Emmanuel Brinton with the fastest lap, a 47.635 in third place. Ollie Walker and Dylan Mellor, they round out your top five. Ryan Hitchcock, Josh Bannister, Lucas Brown, Kyle Payne, and then Harrison Crosby. That's your top 10. With Alfie Davidson, Thomas Gomez, Harrison Mackay, Ben Jolliffe, Taylor Stewart Campbell, and then Cameron Sewell. That is your top 16. James Cook rounding out the 17 strong order. So, fantastic race there. That was one of the best races all season for the Mini GP 50s. We've still got one more race for them to go. Race 3, the last race of the season. That will be, I can expect, an absolute cracker. So, 2 more races to go before lunch. Up next, it's the Extreme 200 here at Tattershall in Lincolnshire. This is round 8 of the 2018 Cool FAB-Racing British Mini Bike Championships.
It is go, go, go! This is the Cool FAB-Racing British Mini Bikes Championship.
The Extreme 200s are on circuit now, moments away from a race start, and it will be Charlie Nesbitt and Richard Holmes-Williams on the front row of your grid. Brandon Perrell and Martin Glossop are on row 2. Row 3 goes the way of Elliot Dufton with Felix Hearn alongside him. Harvey Claridge, Kier Armstrong, Ash Barnes and Josh Ingram round out the top 5 rows of the grid, with Callum Wybrow, Josh Watley, Alex Vella, Tom Whedon, Jamie King and Blake Ansell. That is the full 16 strong order. And as they all decide where they are on the grid, the marshals just making sure they are in their final positions. And then once the race is ready to get underway, we'll be given the green flag. And that, well, will come in just a few moments' time. With live coverage, round 8 of the 2018 Cool FAB-Racing British Mini Bike Championships, the final round of the championship. This is Motorsport Radio. You're listening on motorsport.radio, on the Cool FAB-Racing website and on social media. Thank you very much for all your comments. We will get around to reading out a few of those in a few moments. But green flag is about to be prepared. It is lifted into the air. A bit of creeping, but we are now underway in this race. 12 laps before the end of this race. Into turn 1 for the first time. Can they all make it through? A few of them quite tentative, as you can imagine, but they have, by and large, made it through cleanly. Into turns 2 and 3. Transition left, right. Really difficult thing to master. And Richard Holmes-Williams, having got into second place, is in second place. A decent start there. They all make it through the first section of this race cleanly, Kiko. And as we say that, a big sideways moment from a few of the riders at the very back. A few had to go in avoidance of that, so... He does push him out.
Fifth place is Brandon Powell. He's actually stayed up for the first lap so far at the moment. But Richard Holmes-Williams leading this race marginally over Charlie Nesbitt.
As you say, it's going to be very tight between that top two, who have now really started to break away from the rest of the field. Holmes-Williams, a great move into the first corner, and it doesn't look like on this lap Charlie Nesbitt has anything to respond with. It was the fastest lap that time from Richard Holmes-Williams, a 45.690. That's the fastest lap we've seen today in any of the classes.
Alex Vella is up to 8th place. He started 13th, so good job from Alex Vella making a return to racing after his crash at Wilton Mill. Charlie Nesbitt's gone down the inside. Spud Nesbitt goes through. Richard Holmes-Williams hits the back of him there as he tries to get the undercut. So Charlie Nesbitt retakes the lead. Let's see what he can do. Let's see if Richard Holmes-Williams can fight back. So that is for your lead, and I think we're going to have a titanic scrap now as they go up towards turn 9.
Well, into turn 9 they go, the race leaders, Richard Holmes-Williams, Charlie Nesbitt. Who's it going to be as they make their way over the line? Well, Charlie Nesbitt had initially gotten through, does stay through, 0.3 of a second as they go into turn number 1. Once again, nose to tail, there's barely a bike length between the pair of them. Elliot Dufton maintains 3rd place with Martin Glossop in 4th.
Richard Holmes-Williams has gone down. Sorry, down. Richard Holmes-Williams
big fall for Richard Holmes-Williams.
He lost the back end. The back end stepped out on him and down he goes. So Richard Holmes-Williams, we've seen that so many times this year, pushing on way too hard in the early stages, and down he goes. Takes a bit of the grass with him as well. He picks his bike up. He doesn't tidy up the side of the circuit. Oh, that's nice of him, isn't it? So Richard Holmes-Williams, though, out of contention for this race. Charlie Nesbitt out on his lonesome.
And it makes Elliot Dufton into 2nd place. 3rd place challenging. There's a yellow flag up at turn 9. We're not sure what for. There's a rider stopped on the left hand side of the circuit. We'll get confirmation of that in a moment. May well be Felix Hearn, but Charlie Nesbitt leads 3.8 seconds ahead of Elliot Dufton. Martin Glossop 3rd. 4th place Brandon Peril, the yellow Peril, in 4th place at the moment, almost being challenged by Kier Armstrong and Josh Watley as well. So they're making their way through turns 2 and 3. No yellow flags in that section anymore. Richard Holmes-Williams back aboard his machine, may well rejoin this race. 9 laps left to go though, and Charlie Nesbitt is clearing off, not just for 1st place, 2nd place also cleared off. Martin Glossop really being challenged for that final spot on the podium by Brandon Peril.
Remember when we spoke to Brandon Peril back at Wilton Mill, he said he wanted to sign off this year with a podium. Well, he's looking at Martin Glossop's rear wheel saying, I don't want to be looking at that, I want to be looking back at your front wheel because I want to be ahead of you. So Brandon Peril, just keep your eyes on the 146. The yellow Peril is absolutely flying. Side by side action further down the field. Josh Watley trying to get past Kier Armstrong, goes in early, goes out wide. Armstrong has the upper hand, but Watley gets him back at turn 2. Classy move from Josh Watley. That's why that kid's going places. Kier Armstrong not able to fight back, so he's gone from 5th to 6th. But out front, Charlie Nesbitt, no such battles for him. He's cleared off.
Watley, of course, started outside the top 10, so he'll be delighted with the progress he's been making in these first few laps. But the gap is just extending up front now with Nesbitt and Dufton. Dufton, obviously, would have been loving the fact that Holmes-Williams was just holding up Nesbitt ever so slightly. But without that pressure, it does look like it's going to be all Nesbitt all the way to the finish.
Seems that way to me. Richard Holmes-Williams is looking down at his bike. He's on the infield. He's not going to be coming back from that. Charlie Nesbitt, though, flying at the moment. Elliot Dufton there in 2nd place. Oh, we've been told Martin Glossop's in 2nd place now. So Elliot Dufton's definitely still out on track. Martin Glossop is 3rd. 4th place Brandon Peril. Not sure who has pitted. We did see someone go into pits. We'll try and work that one out later on. Charlie Nesbitt has dropped down our time and order, but we know he is. No, we know Charlie Nesbitt is out front by a country mile. There he goes past our commentary position.
He's going that quickly. The timing system has got confused as to where he is on circuit. That's happened a few times in our careers. But Elliot Dufton 2nd place. Martin Glossop a whole second ahead of Brandon Peril, though, who's a whole second ahead of Josh Watley. he was a whole second ahead of Josh Watley. It's now half a second, so proving me wrong and going very fast. That's good at what he does. But as they make their way into turns 1 and 2, that battle starting to close in, and Brandon Perrill coming under pressure. Josh Watley, one of the stars of the future, he is giving it a good go.
You get the feeling Josh Watley's going to try a big move on Brandon Perrill very, very soon. Turns 6 and 7 will be overtaking hot spots for him and lifting him up. I said turn 6 and 7. He's gone for turn 6 and he hasn't got it because that turn 7. Brandon Perrill fights straight back. Now on the power, short burst, squirting the power in there. Josh Watley gets it done for turn 8 and 9. So Watley versus Perrill. It's only going to end one way, and I think Watley has made sure of that. Watley has now got the lead in that group. So Perrill back to 5th.
And 7 laps completed, 5 laps left to go. Charlie Nesbitt, your race leader, by 9.823 seconds. Martin Glossop is a further 4.6 seconds back in 3rd place. Josh Watley then into 4th ahead of Brandon Perrill. Kier Armstrong getting involved in all of this, battling at the moment and desperately wants that extra position. Up the inside again goes the number 70 of Josh Watley through at turn number 4. This time he keeps on to the position, and Kier Armstrong's going to monitor this. He's not going to want to monitor it too closely. He just sits there thinking, okay, if Josh can do that, I'll do that, probably the next time around. And already it is Josh Watley gapping Brandon Perrill, moving up that position.
I mean, behind them there is also the battle for 7th with Alex Vella currently leading that way. Another three bike battle for that position. But of course it is all about that battle for 4th right now with Josh Watley currently leading the way.
Alex Vella there in 7th place doing a great job. He's had Josh Ingram, the 147, and Ash Barnes, the number 8. So at the moment that's how it's looking. Behind them it is Zach Shelton, the number 4. So this race is not done just yet. I think we've got a bit of time until we see how it all pans out, but there's no questioning who's going to win it. Charlie Nesbitt has streaked off at the front. Unbelievable. He's ahead of Elliot Dufton by way over 5 seconds. It's more like 10 seconds. It's 13.5 seconds.
So we've got a faller down at turn number 6 on the left hand side. Can't quite see who that is. It's black with yellow on the leathers.
Looks like it may be Tom Whedon. Not going to speculate though. Rider is up and okay, and that is the main thing.
Ryder is back on the bike, trying to get it restarted, but they have only got 2.5 laps left to go. Charlie Nesbitt, fastest lap, 44.680. Last lap, 45.020. So not leaving too much on the table, and 13.4 seconds ahead of Elliot Dufton. It's certainly a position that he is enjoying at the moment. As I say, that goes even quicker, 44.663. 2 laps left to go. Charlie Nesbitt is determined to go as quickly as he can. There's a yellow flag in the middle sector, so as that bike now being pushed away, Elliot Dufton leads. 15 seconds is the gap between Charlie Nesbitt and Elliot Dufton. Martin Glossop in 3rd, 4th Josh Watley. Brandon Perrill still holding on though, and Kier Armstrong into 5th. They're still battling quite nicely at the moment. Alex Vella, Josh Ingham and Ash Barnes the top 9. Zach Shelton is in 10th place.
We have seen the top 3 all really spread out now, and I think there's almost 5 seconds between all 3 of the top runners, so I think it might all be settled. As for Nesbitt though, he is just coming on to the final lap now, as it really looks like it's going to be a domination from the number 86.
Again, Charlie Nesbitt doing what he does best. Don't know if it would have been this way had Richard Holmes-Williams not gone and thrown it into the Lincolnshire scenery, but it doesn't matter, it's been done now. Charlie Nesbitt hasn't done any of that silly nonsense, and he is going to take this win. He's at turn 7, gracefully, elegantly flicking it from right to left on the power, sliding the bike sideways through turn 8, now up to the top at turn 9. Not got long left. Charlie Nesbitt has done the deal here today. Nesbitt is a winner once more. He's done it so many times now, he's getting used to it. 2nd place will be Elliot Dufton. He's just coming through turn number 7 now. Don't think Martin Glossop is under attack much from anyone. We're going to take everyone across the line. Josh Watley and Kier Armstrong are having a great jockey for position. Elliot Dufton across the line in 2nd. He'll be well and truly happy with that. 3rd place, will it be Martin Glossop? Indeed it will. 4th place gets sorted by Josh Watley. Then it's Kier Armstrong. Brandon Perrill takes 6th. He started 3rd, so another top 6 performance from Brandon Perrill. Alex Vella in the end should be coming home in 7th place. Yes, he does, do the 6-2-1 holds on to that position. Alex Vella 7th, Ash Barnes 8th, Zach Shelton and Josh Ingram slipping back to 10th in the end. Lewis Patrickson, Richard Holmes-Williams and Felix Hearn. Holmes-Williams and Hearn not finishing the race. Lewis Patrickson in 11th place.
Great result there from Charlie Nesbitt, Elliot Duffton and Martin Glossop in your top 3. One final comment though from you, Connor Jackson.
It was a fantastic race there, and I think it's really a case of Nesbitt being a class act of the field.
Well, he really is a class act, one of the most talented riders in the Cool Fab paddock at the moment. This, though, the race starts here as we make our way. If you're tuned in on the visual radio stream, you'll be able to see the highlights through turn 1. It was very tight, a few tentative bites of the cherry, but as the race continued, Charlie Nesbitt making great progress. Richard Holmes-Williams made a good start. Unfortunately, bike problems meant after he fell meant he did not continue in the race. Rider was on the piste, though, so it did seem okay, but as the rest of the session continues, big highlights for Richard Holmes-Williams as he tumbles down at turn number 2, but major drama already here on the Mini F1 sidecars. The number 90 machine, that being piloted by Jason Greenstreet, lost a passenger going on the run down towards turn number 4, a bit closer than we expected.
Jason Greenstreet, I know his surname's Greenstreet, but there's no need to be violent and throw your passenger out. That's just a bit taking a mick. They're back up and okay, and everyone else circulating around to the grid now.
So the final race before lunch then, the second race of the weekend for the Mini F1 sidecars. We'll see Jack Walters starting on pole position with Mick Williams in second place. Mick Lee and Richard Davies are on the second row of the grid, the number 230 being piloted this weekend by Richard Davies. Then it's Adrian Ems and Simon Ibbotson with Sam Clowes, Jason Greenstreet on row 4 ahead of John Hosker, Scott Jewett and Russ Morgan. Now, we had some great battling from Jack Walters, Mick Williams and Mick Lee yesterday. How are we going to have the same again? Well, 6 laps in to decide. The second round of races is coming to an end, and the Mini F1 sidecars bring us nicely to the end of the second set of races. You're listening to live coverage of round 8 of the 2018 Cool Fab Racing British Mini Bike Championships, live on the Cool Fab Racing website, on motorsport.radio and on social media. Thank you for your comments. We're about to get racing then for the Mini F1 sidecars, the second time of the weekend. Green flag goes up and it goes down again. It's quite a good start from the number 90 of Jason Greenstreet, making contact on his way down to turn 1, but into turn 1 for the first time. Are you in any way surprised? It is that man, Mick Williams, the number 26, into the lead of this race, going through turns 2 and 3 for the first time. Jack Walters into second place. Third place is Mick Lee at the moment. Adrian Ems not too far behind either, but it is the number 230 as we got a piece falling off one of the sidecars, a piece of debris being collected by someone else. Who did that fall off, Kiko Giles?
Mick Williams. I think he's losing weight all the time. Mick Williams then has started shedding his load, and that is not what you need at all.
And well, I know Colin Chapman's mantra was simplify and add lightness. Well, that's taken it to a whole new level, stripping it mid-race.
Is he the one who did Lotus? Colin
Yes.
I thought he was. Even I know that.
Yes, the one that did Lotus. Well, Kiko Giles, the master there. Oh, the master
got away with words.
Racing. He's got away with words, but Mick Williams has got away with motor racing, to be honest. He's leading this one ahead of the number 2 of Jack Walters.
And as you say, Williams just has taken this to his advantage. Qualifying did not go as he had planned, qualifying second for I don't think that many times this season.
No, not at all.
Walters, of course, really was hoping to make the most of these races today, but in the first race and the second race he has lost that lead on the start, and I think he'll be kicking himself in that car.
Well, in the sidecar they've got a few more laps left to go, so it could results go their way, change, making their way over the line now as Mick Williams and passenger, of course, heading over the line once again. This means Mick Williams in the lead of the race. Jack Walters is in second place ahead of Mick Lee. Richard Davies and then Adrian Ems is your top 5. Simon Ibbotson in 6th ahead of Jason Greenstreet. No, it's not. It is Simon Ibbotson and Jason Greenstreet. John Hosker in 8th ahead of Sam Clowes, Scott Jewett and Russ Morgan, the top 11. Now it's very close between Jason Greenstreet and John Hosker. They're making their way through turns 2 and 3, transitioning left to right into the right-hander. Turn 3 and 4, it's very tight for them to try and make it through. The number 90 lost, Jason Greenstreet lost a passenger going down this one on the warm-up lap, so maybe they've slowed their pace down a little just so they can all stay aboard the machine. But a 52.879 for Mick Williams is his fastest lap so far. Is it any quicker on this one? Yes, it is. 52.166. 4 laps to go. Mick Williams 3.8 ahead of Jack Walters. Mick Lee not closing in on Jack Walters, whereas he did start closing in yesterday. Has some fantastic battling for second place. And Richard Davies also maintaining a gap ahead of Adrian Ems. No real change at the moment.
Mick Williams doing very, very well to get round the 1 kilometre Tattershall course in 52.1 seconds. We got yellow flags for a outfit on the far side of the circuit.
Might be Russ Morgan.
It might be Russ Morgan. Oh, what a terrible disaster for Russ Morgan. He'll have to come and join us in the commentary box for the...
Well, as we continue on with the race, Mick Williams confirmed that unfortunately Russ Morgan out with retirement. Problem with that machine once again, was having a few niggling technical problems over the last few race meetings.
Just a few.
But as Mick Williams continues along this race, halfway into this race already, 52.2 was the last lap for Mick Williams. Mick Lee now is second place ahead of Jack Walters. Jack Walters has made a mistake somewhere and lost second place in this race. Richard Davies ahead of Adrian M. Simon Ibbotson is ahead of Jason Greenstreet, who is closing up to the 6th position.
Mick Lee's sidecar outfit looks very unstable in the corners. I've got to say, it doesn't look like it's planted at all. A bit erratic, especially on exit as well. So Jack Walters may well just have a second bite of the cherry here.
Well, give it a good couple of laps, one suspects. Mick Williams doesn't need to worry himself about this, but the battle for second place, as we had yesterday, really starting to hot up. And it's fantastic that we've got a great entry this weekend. 11 sidecars this weekend, a lot better than we've had at some race meetings.
As you say, as it means we're having a battle all the way through the field. Adrian Ems currently leading the 4-car battle for 5th place. We do have a car going slow on the circuit
going
at the minute.
Through turn number 1, that is the number 3 of Scott Jewett, who is slowing up just to let some of the other riders in this race through.
I don't think he's got a problem, no disrespect to him. I think he's just getting lapped. He's having a learning weekend, I think.
Well, I think Scott Jewett just lifting off to allow some of the other riders through in this race. Mick Williams on course for another victory. A lap and a half to go, but
Russ
second
Morgan's
place.
Retired.
Russ Morgan then confirmed in retirement, did get back underway, but now heading back towards the paddock. And as the battle for second place really raging on now, the number 44 and Mick Lee as they head on to the final lap. Mick Williams leads Mick Lee in second place, but not by too much at this stage. Over the line now, and it's been a poor run for Jack Walters. He's lost a load of time out of the final few corners. That's not quite enough though to take second place, but closing up exponentially into turn number 1. It really is closing up. Could be a change for second place with half a lap left to go though.
Half a lap left to go. No issues for Mick Williams. He has got this one done and dusted. He's got to turn left. In a minute that'll hook him around back to the top of the circuit. Then he'll be on his way down through the final couple of corners. Russ Morgan and passenger have completely given up. They've decided to sit down on the tyres, but through the final corners they come. Mick Williams has done it once more. Who would have thought it? Another win for the number 26 outfit. Mick Williams completes an incredible season with just one race left to go later on. Mick Lee across the line in second. Jack Walters nearly got him on the line though. How close was that?
4/10 of a second.
4/10 of a second to be precise. Richard Davies should be third. We've got a battle though. Adrian Ems and Simon Ibbotson, I think that is going head to head. Or Simon Ibbotson and Jason Greenstreet. Across the line goes Richard Davies. Adrian Ems is next. Simon Ibbotson should be after that. Jason Greenstreet is trying to get past him. Simon Ibbotson is just about going to hold on to 6th place. Jason Greenstreet 7th, and in 8th place John Hosker. Sam Clowes, where are you? Are you out there? Looks like he is. 9th place, he will be our last finisher. Scott Jewett 10th on the leaderboard, and Russ Morgan just completing 2 laps. How unfortunate for them, but race winner Mick Williams.
Very happy with that. And that concludes the second last set of races for the season. A few highlights then from that final race before we go for lunch, and the mini F1 sidecars underway down towards the first few corners. It is quite close, but it did manage to get it done in the end. So good win for Mick Williams, Mick Lee, Jack Quarters. That is your top three. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is lunch. We're going to go for a very short break before coming back to Tattershall for the final time in 2018. That will be the last set of races this season. I'm pretty sad about that, to be honest. But if anything, any of the racing this morning has been anything like what it's been already, we are really in for a fantastic session indeed. Make sure you join us on the Cool Fab Racing website, on motorsport.radio, and on social media. Thank you for joining us this morning. All the comments you've been sending in, thank you very much for bearing with us through the long lunch period, or long red flag period, one must suggest. Although it was a big thank you as ever to all of the marshals and the medics, and to race control working as ever very hard to make sure we got it over. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back in the not too distant future. We'll see you in not too long.
Now the official partner series to the BSB. This is Cool Fab Racing.